We're going racing in Texas. Here they come.
Let's go racing Texas style.
This place gets you so pumped up.
This is NASCAR's fastest.
The speeds are so high, over 200 miles an hour.
It is blazing fast.
This 500-mile race will test man, machine, and emotion.
That's the kind of action you get here at Texas. This place is Texas big, and this track is prime.
Welcome to Fox NASCAR coverage of the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 from Texas Motor Speedway, Fort Worth. Pace car begins to roll the field from pit road. It is unseasonably cool, although 51 degrees, about 15 degrees higher than yesterday. Winds out of the southeast. Track temp 65 degrees. We'll put the starting lineup up on the pylon, led by Kurt Busch with his third Texas pole. And who have we got on the horn today? Oh, wait a minute, excuse me. I'm sorry. And here we go.
Yeah, let's dial up Jimmie Johnson, our winner from last year. Hey, Jimmy, this is Jeff. You got me?
Yeah, buddy, loud and clear.
Man, bud, fastest in that final practice, so it looks like you guys found some of that speed you've been looking for. You won this thing from the back last year. Ought to be pretty easy to do it from 10th, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm not sure there's really anything easy in this sport. This is just amazing, the competition that exists at the Cup level. And I'm excited to have my Lotus Approach Chevy running good. It's feeling real stable for me, especially with how fast we're going around this track. So looking forward to a fun day today, and we'll see what we can get.
All right, let's talk to crew chief.
Chad?
Hey, Chad Canals, it's DW here, buddy. You got me?
Yes, sir, DW.
Man, it's taken a few weeks here, but it looks like you finally got your arms around this Camaro. You've practiced well. You've qualified well. What can we expect today, buddy?
I think you better expect an exciting race. You know, 334 laps around here is pretty treacherous at the speeds that we're running. So it's going to be an exciting race for all the fans. I'm looking forward to getting Lowe's for Pros ZR1 up front. We'll go out there and we'll see what we got.
All right, good luck to you guys, and thanks for talking to us.
Jimmie Johnson will roll off 9th today. All right, we've got late breaking news from pit road. Let's start with Matt Yoakum.
And Mike, when you look at the weather this weekend, it certainly has been a big question mark for a lot of teams. And Team Penske, they're trying to chase the weekend sweep. The captain, Roger Penske, 3 wins here, but none of which with Brad Keselowski. I spoke with Keselowski just as he was climbing in the car. He said their setup today, they need to have the sun come out. If that happens, we've got a strong top 5. Possibly, he could put a big check mark next to Texas. Jamie Little?
Well, Matt, it's been a bit of a scramble here in the 42 pit. They were the last ones through inspection this morning, actually early afternoon, as they failed 3 times. That means their car chief, he's been ejected. They have to give up their 10th place starting position and drop to the back. And I just talked to his crew chief, Chad Johnston, and he told me it is going to be so hard to pass today. He's relying on his pit crew to dig them out of the hole. He expects them to be flawless today. Vince Welch?
Well, in these weather conditions, teams have more questions than answers. But generally in this sport, no matter what the conditions or what the challenge, you find the best seem to rise to the top. And we expect to see that today, and included in that group should be Kyle Busch. Busch is a 2-time winner here at Texas. The last 4 races this season, he's finished top 3. So when you have the question, who's going to be a winner today, the answer just might be Kyle Busch. Larry Mack?
Yeah, Vince, Mike Joy touched on it, just the weather. And because of the weather yesterday, nobody made a long race run. So I think the unknowns of what these drivers have, they have no idea. And the other word would be anticipation. The crew chief's anticipating what their driver's going to tell them because they know they're going to have to get carried away and very aggressive with adjustments on that first pit stop. Let's take a look at our race analysis now. The stages, 85, 85, and 164 for 334 laps and 500 miles. Pit road speed, 45 miles per hour. The fuel window, 56 to 62 laps. And the grip level at the bottom of the racetrack, a total of 5. You get outside of that, it will be about a 1. Now, to the rear, you heard Jamie Little talk about Kyle Larson in that 42 car. Failed inspection 3 times. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., a hard practice crash, goes to a backup for the 3rd time this year. William Byron, an engine change. And Matt DiBenedetto changed the transmission.
Thanks, Larry. 37 car starting field. as we get the 1 to go sign. Four Fords lead the field, and all the Ford drivers got to go visit the iconic Star at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. They got to show off their athletic skills. By the way, Emmitt Smith is here with the Joey Logano team. Well, wasn't he number 22 forever? So where else is he going to sit but Joey Logano's pit box, right?
That'd be my choice.
All right, we're listening in on Martin Truex, who will roll off 6th.
Good luck in there today, bud. Let's go get us a cowboy hat. 10-4, buddy. Have a good day up there, too. Stay warm. Have a good day on pit road, guys. Do our deal. Let's go get some hats and guns and boots and all that. Good luck.
Look at that on his visor. Doesn't it look like a set of Longhorns there? Maybe just a little bit.
Gonna be tough for that outside row when they get through 1 and 2. Pretty treacherous on low air pressures and cold tires.
You know what I like? I'm starting beside another Toyota. Maybe I could talk you into letting me in.
Now, it was even colder yesterday, but on most of the restarts, the leader chose the outside rather
Well,
than the inside.
the leader, but if you looked at row 2, 3, 4, 5, they were struggling.
All right, what's our computer projection model Bernie say about today's finish? Bernie has Martin Truex with Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Denny, the usual suspects.
Let the rivalry begin to those top 3.
Truex and Harvick, they've been the masters of the 1.5 miles as they address themselves to the start line.
Yes, sir, man. Big boy racing today. 200 mile an hour, tough track. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing, boys.
Harvick, the launch off turn 2.
Yeah, the ones I really expected to work together on this initial start was the teammates at Stewart-Haas Racing between Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch, but no deal. Oh, Kurt Busch is high.
Oh, boy.
Up 4.
No grip up there. It's just nothing but track's kind of dirty. No grip whatsoever.
Yeah, no momentum.
It cost him 5 spots. He falls to 6th between turn 3 and the start-finish line.
Mike, that outside is so tempting, but there's just not much grip outside of that black groove that we're looking at.
They drag tires around this track in lanes 2 and 3 for a week or two, trying to get a little more rubber into the racetrack, and it will help today. The bottom groove they did not touch.
Oh, trouble. Turn 4 here, guys.
Alex Bowman comes around.
Paul Menard gets him. And quickly, we are under caution.
About half the field down pit road to avoid that.
I think the 19 car of Suarez got a lot of damage to his car. A couple other cars. You see the 21 with quite a bit of damage. Paul Menard.
And this was what's on the mind of all these competitors out there in these early laps. It's a pretty cold day to start the race, low air pressures. You see Alex Bowman clipped the apron just a little bit. Maybe the air off the 6 car loosened him up also. Around he came, and Austin Dillon unfortunately nowhere to go. Or Paul Menard.
Or the 19 of Suarez, and too bad for those guys, because 3 laps in the race and you're in trouble.
Check up, check up, check up, check up. Go high, go high, go high. Stay down. You got one coming.
That was Paul Menard. Let's
guys, smashed in right rear.
ride with Austin Dillon.
Pretty good job here by Dillon, Mike. He doesn't panic. He sees what he's faced with. He made a little contact, but light.
I got shoved into him. I got nose damage.
Austin Dillon, talk about nose damage. You see a lot of rear end damage to Paul Menard.
Yeah, and that's a critical area for aerodynamics, is that rear quarter panel. I don't know, the front damage to the 3 car, they might be able to get away with that.
I think he's okay, Jeff. He didn't make a lot of hard contact. I think he just kind of touched.
Oh, no, there's a shame. Daniel Suarez carrying the signatures and names of all of those kids from that hospital.
Yep. Children's Miracle Hospital. That was a big deal for them, Chip Booth.
Under caution in Texas. 5 cars involved in a lap 2 crash at turn 4. As Jeff pointed out, Alex Bowman looks like he got the left side tires down just on that apron enough to start to turn the car around, collecting Austin Dillon, Paul Menard, Daniel Suarez, and Ross Chastain.
Yeah, I believe the 3 car also was, or the 43 car was right up under his back bumper, and it just loosened that car up, and away it went.
Let's get down to the pit of the 5th place car and meet a special guest. Jamie?
Well, you mentioned him earlier. Emmitt Smith, the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Welcome to NASCAR. What brings you here?
Well, I'm here with my team, 22 Kids, from our charity organization. And they're upstairs watching and giving them a NASCAR experience. We like to give kids that unique experience in life, things that they might not otherwise have a chance to go see or be involved in.
I know you've seen a lot here so far. You're watching these team guys. How closely do you see this kind of emulating what you saw in the NFL and working tight as a team?
Quite naturally, when you're in this type of environment, a very intense environment, it's very important that everybody understands their role, their job, and their responsibility. And not only that, but the communication lines are constantly open because you can get hurt out here. And not only that, but you're trying to win, help your teammate win. And so you're doing the best you can. And so the communication lines absolutely have to be open.
Well, Emmitt signed the deck lid of the 22 car. Perhaps it's a little good luck, right?
Let's hope so. Great to have him here.
Boy, what a fierce competitor. Talk about Emmitt Smith.
What a legend. And what a great charity. Bring those kids and give them an experience that otherwise they certainly couldn't have. He has rushed for the distance of 7 laps here as the NFL's all-time leading rusher.
So we just took a break so we could talk to him and remember that.
Let's get set for the restart with Daniel Suarez still on pit road. We're back under green. Kevin Harvick, your leader.
Tell you one thing, that Kevin Harvick ain't wasting no time today. He's on it.
Whoa, we see Clint Boyer gets really loose on the bottom groove. Slides up right in front of Mark Truex Jr.
I just think this cold tires and cold track, Mike, they just don't have a lot of grip for a lap or two till they get a little heat built up in the tires.
Well, Chad Knaus called it. It's going to be an edgy race at very high speeds.
Yeah, I told Boyer in our pre-race show there, I said attrition's going to be high today, but I don't know how to spell attrition. so he was laughing at me.
Want to see what happened to Clint Boyer over there in turn 2? Let's watch from Martin Truex at the 14.
See the back end steps out ever so slightly. Now Boyer talked when we were in our break in the pre-race, he talked about cars holding you down and getting on the outside, loosening you up. I don't think that was necessarily the case in that situation. I think he just got loose, but we'll be looking for more of that side-by-side action on those restarts through turns 1 and 2.
Hey, look at the newlywed there going to town. Chris Buescher, he just gets around Jimmy Johnson. Chris and his crowd, although he got married last weekend.
Yeah, most everybody else went to the islands or partied in their off week. He went to a wedding, his.
Yeah, Scrappy and all of his buddies, they had a big time.
Buescher in 11th is the highest Chevrolet in the race right this moment. Just ahead of Jimmy Johnson.
Kid can wheel a car now. I'm telling you, he's a good wheelman. Give him some a race.
You can see right there how fast Jimmy Johnson went through 1 and 2 and gained quite a bit on Chris Buescher. I really think that first couple laps, getting those pressures, going and up the temperature with the tires, really affected Jimmy Johnson and the balance of his race car he has right now.
Jeff, don't you think you're going to start this run here at the beginning of this race? You're going to be loose for a few laps until the tires get heat and build up a little bit.
Well, I don't think any of them know exactly how to start the balance of this race because they expect the sun to come out, track temperature to come up. It was so cool yesterday when they practiced. It's a total guessing game for air pressures and the setup to start this race.
Now here comes Kyle Larson passing into the top 20. Remember, he had to go to the back when that car failed inspection 3 times.
Yeah, this could be fun watching him, how far he can make it to the front on this first run.
He's up to 20th. Wow, 200. Cold temperatures, fast track, 207 into the corner.
Well, so 3 and 4 have a little more banking, sweeping corner. They get through there really fast to carry that momentum down the front straightaway. But boy, when you get to turn 1, it is flat, and you better slow down. It's about 20-mile-an-hour drop in speed from entering the corner to the center.
Yeah, it looks like you might have a little bit of a tailwind down the back, Mike, and that even makes those speeds greater as you go into turn 3.
Jimmy Johnson moves ahead of Chris Buescher for 11. Darrell Wallace Jr. with them.
Yeah, great run so far by Darrell Wallace Jr.
Yeah, you know, he qualifying Friday. Remember, Darrell went back out there, and Bubba went back out there. Wasn't in the top 24, but he went back out and made a second run, and man, he picked up a nice qualifying run.
William Byron had a start in the back due to an engine change after practice. He and Kyle Larson are the biggest movers.
Well, and you just saw something right there, and that's what's going to be one of the keys, especially through turns 1 and 2. Bubba Wallace got down into turn 1, couldn't hold the bottom, couldn't hold the white line, but Eric Jones right behind him hugged it perfectly, carried the momentum, and actually cleared Bubba Wallace by the time they got to turn 3.
I heard some of the guys talking, Mike, like you can be a gentleman and a guy gets a little position on you down there and you give it up, or you can be a whatever and race somebody and cause both of you to have trouble.
Looking at 9th place here, Almirola and Kyle Busch. Did the start of the race surprise you? Oftentimes when you have teammates starting together on the front row, there's an arrangement as to who gets to turn 1 first, but boy, Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick, they fought for it.
I think when Kevin Harvick said on Friday or Saturday that they were the king of the mile and a half now, they were better than Martin Truex, he wanted to make a statement right on the get-go.
And Kyle Busch completes that pass on Almirola.
Kevin Harvick has stepped out to a 1.4 second lead over Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Clint Bowyer. "22 laps complete. O'Reilly Auto Parts entertaining fans all weekend long here at the Speedway. Checking out the Shredder Show car, taking pictures with the replica trophy. Fans had some Texas-style fun before the race started. 23 complete. Kevin Harvick has led them all. Had a bit of a moment with a lap car up in turn 4 a lap ago. But his lead has been cut. Ryan Blaney's coming. There's that yellow car of Blaney. Now just 0.6 of a second back. And the Blaney family's had quite a weekend. Yesterday here in the Xfinity Series, Ryan Blaney drove to victory. On the same day as World of Outlaw legend Dave Blaney, his dad won at Port Royal about 30 minutes after Ryan got the checkered flag.
Man, how cool is that? His dad still getting it done behind the wheel of a dirt sprint car. You know, had years of experience in NASCAR as well, and now his son's out there winning Xfinity races and running second in this Cup race.
Yeah, I just think if there's a guy that I would put a lot of money on today to be that guy in that 12 car. I believe he's going to have a great day. Right now he's just stalking Kevin Harvick. Harvick's on a mission, but I think that 12's a car to beat.
Denny Hamlin working his way past Reed Sorensen in third, 1.6 back. 2 of the cars damaged in the lap 2 crash. Daniel Suarez has made several stops, and Austin Dillon was just in and out of the pits.
We see the 43 of Darrell Wallace Jr. lost some momentum.
He may have had a little assistance.
A little help.
Yeah. I don't mean he hit him. I just think that air.
Yeah, he was already a little bit loose getting into the corner as the 42 got closer. Definitely probably took a little more air off of him right there.
Hello. Hello. It's an H&B. High and by.
That's what you call quick reflexes by Darrell Wallace Jr. to catch it.
Nice
I think
save.
a very similar thing is what happened on the start of this race when he was up on the back of the 88 that Bubba Wallace was. Got him a little loose.
We'll see Kurt Busch get by Clint Bowyer, and again it's Reed Sorensen, kind of the jam car there, trying to stay up the groove and out of the way of those two. But again,
yeah, obviously the 14 car is rolling and rotating through the middle 1 and 2 a little too much, because that's the same area he had trouble on that restart where the back end stepped out. Did the same thing right there, allowed Kurt Busch to make that pass.
I wouldn't want to drive a loose race car at these speeds, but I think if your car's a little bit loose right now, that's not a bad thing, because I think you can adjust that out of the car, and the track's going to tighten up as it gets warmer and it gets rubber down.
And you know, I've talked to a lot of drivers about the track bar adjuster. They have that ability to lower or raise that track bar, but they all say it affects the entry and exit more than it affects the center of the corner when that car gets loaded into the banking. So not maybe as good of a tool as they'd like to have, that they'll be able to have on the next pit stop.
Yeah, lowering and raising that rear track bar, Mike and Jeff, you know this, it lowers and raises the rear roll center. So the lower you can get that, the better you're going to get in the corner. But it's not going to be effective in the middle of the corner, and it's going to be opposite to what you want coming off the corner.
Jimmy Johnson back into the top 10 with that pass of Eric Almirola.
I just like back in the old days, we just put it in one spot and left it alone. You know, just you had what you had.
Yeah, because you didn't have that option.
Matt?
And Mike, just a few moments ago, happened to look up at the American flags going up and down pit lane. You can see how it's going from a tailwind down the backstretch to basically switching to a crosswind. So the wind could be a factor even more by day's end. Jimmy Johnson, the car free on entry into turn 3, and that could be part of that tailwind, but also a little snug across the center of 1 and 2.
Thanks, Matt. The wind started out of the southeast, now pretty much out of the south.
And Mike,
straight up the backstretch.
If you look at the lap times, I mean, the fastest lap we've had so far has been a 27.65. Right now we're just running a 28.18, haven't slowed down very much. That's what's going to take its toll on these cars and drivers today.
Jamie, how about our pole sitter?
Yeah, I haven't heard much complaining out of Kurt Busch all weekend long. He nailed his qualifying lap on Friday, that only round that we had. He said the car was perfect. Just now is the first time he said anything negative. He said losing grip quickly. He's dead sideways. Of course, he could have burned up those tires when he got in the gray area earlier.
Well, we saw the same thing from Clint Boyer as we watched from the onboard of Martin Truex behind Boyer, but that whole group getting pretty close together here. And Kyle Busch closing on them. Vince, what's up with the 18?
Well, Kyle started 8th and currently runs 8th, but his concern says he feels like they've developed a vibration in the right front, and that's an issue that they want to keep an eye on because they had a right front tire issue in their final practice on Saturday, and they punctured a tire twice here in the fall, once at the beginning of the race and once near the end. So certainly something to keep an eye on, and they are ready if Kyle decides he needs to bring it to pit lane.
Well, he's had a season that most drivers would be proud of. These last 4 races for Kyle Busch. Average of 2.3, everything but a W.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Everything but.
You see the expression on his face. That's how he feels about that. You know?
Yeah.
And who can blame him?
He's highly competitive, and can't blame him. You know, they're good enough to win right now.
Kevin Harvick has stretched it out on Ryan Blaney now by 2.6 seconds. Welcome back to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Racing from Texas. That's the first and only caution so far. Alex Bowman went around, and trouble for the series champion coming to pit road unexpectedly. Martin Truex, master of the 1.5 miles, coming in at lap 41, Larry.
Yeah, this is definitely a little bit early, but what I would think, unless they have a problem, and Jamie will let us know, is maybe they're splitting this stage in half. But if they're doing that, Jamie, they have to pray this thing stays green.
That's exactly right. On the radio, it seems like this was planned. Nothing out of the ordinary right now that he's saying on the radio. So the team working on it, wiping the grill, and away Martin Truex Jr. goes.
I like this strategy. Get in here. You got to pit sometime. Get in, get those tires. We've seen how much difference that can make.
Yeah, and what we saw was track position so important, so hard to pass at this track. Maybe they look at this as an opportunity to make up some of those spots they weren't gaining on the track. Now, will we see an influx of cars coming down pit road?
We may, Jeff, but I think once the cars get all strung out like this, there's not a real good chance of a caution. So I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, here they come.
A couple of takers. Casey Kane is on pit road. Jamie McMurray and his teammate Kyle Larson come in as well.
Yeah, that tells you it's probably planned.
And we don't know, maybe Martin needed an adjustment in the car and he didn't want to go too much further. Jamie.
Kyle Larson, he's been pretty happy with it. Said the balance was overall pretty good. And about 10 laps ago, he said he started to get a little bit tight. So it'll be a 4-tire stop here for Larson. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney on the left-hand side in the 12 car making his way down, saying he's a little tight center and exit. So they're going to make a wedge adjustment and an air pressure adjustment around that. Vince?
Well, the 18 of Kyle Busch is in as well. Remember, Busch had a little bit of a vibration that he was concerned about. 4-tire change for the 18 of Kyle Busch. Matt?
They were discussing a chassis adjustment on the 48 for Jimmy Johnson, but his biggest issue, like we documented earlier, entry into 3 and just trying to work that tightness out of that 48 car. Jamie?
Kevin Harvick has been the only leader today, leading 43 laps, saying he's just a little loose off, but not bad. That's the only thing he has said about his car today, other than it's been good and fast. Matt?
Chassis adjustment already completed on Brad Keselowski's 2 car. He felt like he was losing the nose. In fact, he used a brake bias earlier to help entry down into turn 1. Vince on the 14.
Clint Bowyer in that 14, last week's winner. You saw the wrench in the right rear. Chassis adjustment for Bowyer to help tighten it up. Jamie?
Joey Logano on the 22 service is complete. Took off a little tight, and he started to get loose into 1, but overall pretty good. Chase Elliott in the 9 on pit road now as well. He started that run a little bit tight, and as he ran, it seemed to get better. And now that the grip has gone away, he's gotten a little tight again as he slides to a stop. You'll see the wedge wrench right there. They made a slight adjustment on the 9.
And a penalty for Ryan Blaney. They had an uncontrolled tire on their stop.
We talked about this morning in our production meeting about how much this happened yesterday in the Xfinity race.
Let's see what happens here.
All right, you see this tire right there, just sitting there on the right side. It's outside of the box right there. All right, and in that one right there where he kind of rolled it, what the rule says is whoever is handling the tires, you have to stay in contact with those tires. Even if you're rolling them, you have to stay in contact till they're all the way back to the wall.
I just don't know how you do that with 5 guys over the wall.
I don't either, and that's pretty picky if you ask me, but that's the rule.
All right, so the top 7 drivers, everybody down to Matt DiBenedetto, everybody above there has not made a pit stop as Darrell Wallace comes in.
Darrell Wallace very sideways into his box, going to make it tough on this pit crew. He's still in the box, even though the right rear is outside that box. That's legal, but boy, does it make it tough, or it's right on the line.
Yeah, that is legal. As long as the right front and the 2 left sides are in the box, the right rear can be hanging out. So that is a legal move right there.
So now only 4 drivers are on track that have not made a stop. Leader Denny Hamlin, Michael McDowell in second, and then David Reagan, Matt DiBenedetto, each 1 lap down and hoping to catch a caution flag.
Yeah, Mike, in my book, Mike Wheeler and Denny Hamlin, they've made their bed. They're going to run this fuel window out because it would do no good to come short now. Go ahead and run it out to about lap probably 55 to 60 and see if you can catch that caution and burn a lot of drivers being a lap down.
And Larry, that's something we've seen with this 11 car. They seem to go on the fuel mileage. A lot of these teams seem to go on tires and tire wear, get new tires on the car. These guys seem to be week in, week out, guys that will stretch it all the way to the fuel window.
I think Martin Truex Jr. and Cole Pearn had a lot to do with all those cars coming down pit road. I mean, if you think about it, tire wear is not heavy here, even though I know a lot of these drivers want some adjustment because the conditions are much different today versus what they were dealing with yesterday. But you wouldn't typically see them come early. You would think they'd run out the fuel and stop, once it was time for fuel.
So Denny Hamlin is on a lap by himself. McDowell and Reagan are a lap down. Then comes Harvick and Truex. Truex, the big gainer on the pit stop sequence. He pitted from 7th. Harvick pitted from the lead, but right now they're right together.
But Mike, let me ask you something. If you were the 11 car, Denny Hamlin and the Wheeler down there, wouldn't you got everybody a lap down? Isn't that worth taking a gamble for?
Absolutely.
I think so.
So I think they're doing a good. I like what they do.
Well, and this is not Atlanta. This is not Auto Club where there's so much fall off and new tires mean so much. Right now, Denny Hamlin's lap times are, when Kevin Harvick gets clear, it's about a half a second, but he's actually as good as some of those that are further back in traffic right now.
So if we get the caution Hamlin wants, what will happen to all these lap down cars is either they will pit and still be a lap down, or they'll take the wave around, be back on the lead lap, but have to start on those worn tires because you cannot pit if you're going to take the wave around. So it's all in Hamlin's court if it works.
Now Jimmie Johnson with an issue back on pit road.
Back on pit road.
Matt.
Mike, half a lap ago, Jimmie Johnson came on the radio and told Chad Knaus, I've got a significant vibration. Chad said, it is up to you. You know how bad it is. If we need to come, go ahead and bring it to us. We'll be ready. And that's indeed, Jimmie just said, I'm going to bring it to you. He did not want to try to ride it out. Left side's going on. Costly issue, though, on the 48.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you usually judge it by, is the vibration getting worse? If it's getting worse, you usually know it's a loose wheel, and you want to get in and take care of it sooner rather than later before it can, you know, damage those studs that hold those lug nuts on.
Just saw the 88 go to the garage.
Yeah, Alex Bowman, who was spun to bring out the first and only caution so far. Let's see if Hamlin stops this time. It would be lap 56. If he does, that's the chatter we're hearing on the radio. And here he comes.
Now, he needs to be real cautious.
Yeah, no mistakes, right?
30 laps to go in stage 1. Hamlin on a lap by himself as he comes to his pit. Vince.
Well, the issue with this team throughout this early run here is just loose in, and it has gotten freer as it has gone. But they are typically good here. Remember, Denny Hamlin led 65 laps here in the fall and finished third. They liked their car early, and they stuck with their strategy early.
So we'll cycle back around to Kevin Harvick, the leader. Jimmie Johnson's stop was the one to make. They had an issue with the right front wheel loose.
Chevy, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
Well, one bit of strategy came undone with that long run and late pit stop. Denny Hamlin too fast entering.
Yeah, he has to get in a big hurry.
We'll show him coming on to pit road.
So tough, you know, when you're doing 190 miles an hour and you got to slow all the way down to 50 miles an hour. Looked a little faster in segment 1, but watch that ticker. See it go up to 51. You're needing to be 49.99, and he got over to 51 and just didn't slow down enough. There's a battle between brothers.
Third place here between Kurt and Kyle Busch. Now they and Martin Truex are all 7 seconds behind Kevin Harvick, your race leader.
Guys, if Denny Hamlin had not have gotten that penalty, he had fallen back into second behind our leader, Kevin Harvick. He was going to be in good shape. Let's take a look at our green flag pit stop times. This would be the 2 laps, including the stop itself. And you see right there, now, the X factor, he was speeding on pit road, but you can see he did have the fastest 2 laps, including the pit stop, with his teammate Kyle Busch just right there on top of it.
And we said it right before he came on pit road, on pit road, you cannot make any mistakes. I thought I was about the pit crew. I didn't think I'd see Denny with another speeding penalty, but I'll tell you somebody else who really benefited from that. Martin Truex Jr. came in 7th. He was a first car on pit road. He's in 2nd now.
I know they made a good move there.
Watching from his in-car back at 3rd place. And we remind you that NASCAR measures speeding as distance over time, not an instantaneous spike in speed, but it's the time it takes to complete every one segment.
And the reference I'm making is that when you get to 50 miles an hour, even though it's an RPM and it's a time over distance, if you go above it, you've got to get below it enough to get that measurement or that time correct in that very short box that they have the timing lines on pit road.
All I know is if I'm Mike Wheeler, the crew chief, I'd look like Larry over there. I would have pulled all my hair out by now. I mean, he had a perfect strategy.
I'm not going to comment. You can say all you want. I'm not going to comment.
Now this is a great sign of aerodynamics. Tires versus, you know, older tires on the 78 Martin Truex Jr. versus a little bit newer on the 41, but also aerodynamics. This is a tough, narrow groove and very difficult to pass on because of aerodynamics, even though right now the 41 of Kurt Busch, the 18 of Kyle Busch are definitely faster than the 78 of Martin Truex Jr.
All right, so the big losers on pit stops were Ryan Blaney, who came in second and after his penalty is now 16th. Denny Hamlin came in third. He is now 17th. Jimmy Johnson had to make an extra stop for a loose wheel, went from 10th to 27th. And the big gainer on these stops, Kyle Larson, pitted from 13th. He is now in 7th place. There's Larson about to catch that group of 2nd through 6th. Kevin Harvick now leads by 10 seconds, Jamie.
And as Kevin continues to lead, the team is racing with some heavy hearts. You see there in memory of United States Air Force Major Stephen Del Bagno. He was killed during routine training over the Nevada desert last Wednesday. Now the tie-in here, you see the entire 4 team with him. He was one of the pilots who did the flyover for the Daytona 500 this week or this year. And because he was team number 4, he naturally fit in with team number 4 in NASCAR. He got hats and shirts. The team loved him. They got their pictures together. He hung out and watched the team race. So we're all thinking of him. We thank him for his sacrifice and certainly thinking of the United States Air Force.
Thanks, Jamie. Kevin Harvick, your leader, with 15 laps to go in stage 1. That's what Kevin Harvick said this week. Never mind Martin Truex is the master of the mile and a half. It looks like school is back in session, and the headmaster is Kevin Harvick. He's been doling out detentions this year, 3 victories. But running 1-2 are the masters of the mile and a half speedways.
Mike, you got if you say it, you got to believe it. And Kevin Harvick believes that he's better than Martin Truex Jr. in that crowd, and he doesn't mind telling them about it. And you know what I love? A little bit of a head game there.
Oh yeah, nobody plays head games better than the 4 car and Kevin Harvick, and he's got the race car to back it up.
All right, we listened in on Martin Truex.
He's got a hole, man. Let me go. I'm talking to his father. He's telling me he's racing for the damn Lucky Dog. He ain't even close to racing for the Lucky Dog. And I'm just telling you what they're telling me, bud. I'm trying to get all the help I can up here.
Now that's his spotter Clayton Hughes, and I believe he was talking about this.
Yeah, that's Bubba Wallace right in front of him.
Bubba right now is 5th in line to get the free pass if a caution should come out. Busch brothers. There's the pass there. Jamie?
And when Truex pitted on lap 40, all they did was make an air pressure adjustment as well as put 4 fresh tires on. But he's saying this run he took off a little bit loose, and it's just stayed edgy this whole run. He was better to start the race.
And that, man, I tell you, there's nothing worse than to be able to run at 200 miles an hour around this racetrack. Little treacherous getting into 1, almost wide open through 3 and 4, and your car's not quite like you'd like for it to be.
Well, and this is, I think, what a lot of us anticipated this race was going to be like. Conditions are going to be a lot different, especially as rubber gets laid down into this racetrack, as 40 or 37 cars are running around this track right around the bottom. It's going to change the balance and the grip level of those race cars. I think they're going to be chasing this condition all day long.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is when we're green like this, the track has heat in it. These cars, the headers, the tailpipe, everything, the tires, they put heat in the track, which is nice.
Kurt Busch has fallen to 4th. Joey Logano, you see there, 5th. But
that's 78 of Martin Truex Jr. in the wall.
Front straightaway, and that will bring the caution at lap 81.
Heavy hit.
Oh boy. It's like a right front.
Definitely looks like a right front tire.
That car is killed.
Oh, it's dead.
Good to see Martin Truex Jr. put the window net down. I know that.
It knocks the air right out of you.
One of the hardest hits I ever took was here at Texas.
Like getting hit in the stomach with a baseball bat.
All right, here's what happened to our defending series champ.
This is coming off of turn 4. Oh, that, yeah, right at the exit of turn 4. It looks very similar to what we saw with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. practice, but wouldn't you say, DW, that's a right front tire?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they definitely cut a tire down and headed straight to the fence. He was wide open when that thing let go.
That will break a string of 10 straight top fives on 1.5-mile tracks for Martin Truex.
I don't care how fit you are, how tough you are, that hurts.
All right, pit road cannot be opened at this point, so the stage will end under caution with Kevin Harvick, the stage 1 winner, and Martin Truex Jr. out of the race.
Well, I just say thank goodness for safer barriers and how far the safety has advanced here in NASCAR, especially here at Texas Motor Speedway.
A hard crash from the bottom groove all the way straight to the wall.
You okay, bud? That hurt. Not bad, man. You all right? Yeah, I'm okay.
You heard the onboard tire. Didn't hear a tire pop from the onboard radio or anything, but boy, that car just shot straight from the bottom groove to the wall.
No, but you hear it almost drop on the splitter and it start grinding, and that's what that is usually when the tire blows.
It's such a big surprise, Mike. I mean, coming through the corner wide open in the throttle, you're not expecting anything to go wrong.
And it could be suspension too. It could be suspension or tire, but we did see the tire definitely had no air in it after it hit the wall.
Pit road is still closed. They're cleaning up on the front straightaway. And we'll come around to complete lap 85. That will be stage 1, and Kevin Harvick will pick up his 4th stage win of the season. He leads all drivers in that category after having only 6 stage wins in all of 2017.
Yeah, he won both stages at Las Vegas and the race, so he knows how to get it done.
There's the green and white checkered flag for stage 1. Pit road will open next time by. The caution flag, good news for Denny Hamlin. He will get back on the lead lap with the free pass, and Eric Jones picks up a stage point there and in 10th.
But you know, this is why you let's see the 3 car of Austin Dillon on pit road. You know, I look at Kevin Harvick and how he was just laying down those laps and putting lap cars in between himself and others, and we see Denny Hamlin right behind him. That's a lap car, and he's going to get the free pass. But Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch are several positions further back if you look at the lap car. So when he peels off and comes down pit road, it's still big advantage to Kevin Harvick when he gets into his pit stall.
Before pit road opens, let's have a look at the Coca-Cola family of drivers and see how they're faring today. Joey Logano and Kyle Larson, top 5. Ryan Newman, 12th. Denny Hamlin will get back on the lead lap with this caution flag. Dillon and Suarez were involved in the first accident of the day. And apologies to Ryan Newman and his team. Yesterday we had them as having a penalty waived. We received incorrect information on that. That's why Ryan did correctly sit out the last 15 minutes of that practice. Matt?
Mike, Jamie McMurray in the 1 car pitting right off turn 4. The first run, the car was on the tight side. The second run, it is still building tight. He felt at one point being back in dirty air even made that issue even more significant. You can see chassis adjustments already been completed. Vince?
Kyle Busch said the car was on the splitter a little bit, causing it to feel tight, but Kyle said he thinks the track is changing and freeing up, so don't change it. Just 4 tires, Jamie.
Kevin Harvick has been dominant. His car's so good. No adjustments here. 4-tire stop. His teammate, the 41 and Kurt Busch, he said he can't be any freer in 3 and 4, so they're going to leave it alone. A 4-tire stop, 14.8.
Kyle Busch is going to win the O'Reilly race off pit road from Kevin Harvick. Kyle Larson picks up a spot, and Eric Jones picks up 4.
Let's see how Kevin Harvick's doing out there. Hey, Kevin Harvick, it's DW. You got me, buddy?
10-4, I got you, bud.
Hey, man, this thing's looking a lot like Vegas, you know, where you won both stages in the race. The car is awesome. How's it feel?
It feels like the roof's all the way up. I can tell you that for sure. But, you know, the thing has just been flawless as we've started the beginning of this race here. So just an honor to drive these things. Just got to thank everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing for everything that they've done this year. Our Busch Light Jimmy Johnson Ford is running good. We're having fun, man.
And guess what? It shows. Have fun out there, bud.
Thanks, man.
And you wonder why they call him Happy Harvick? Nah. 89 complete. It'll be 1 to go at the line to begin stage 2. Kyle Busch had a 2-second faster pit stop than Kevin Harvick, and you see it there. Kyle Busch's pit crew has put him in the lead. Let's take a look at how.
Yeah, you see right there, everything looking pretty good, but the Jack, you know, everything just finished up a little bit quicker on those right sides. Jackman gets around the left side sooner, and then followed up with another great left side tire change for the 18.
All right, let's join Matt Yoakum.
Unbelievable hit by Martin Truex Jr. Glad you're okay. You know, this has really been a question mark this entire week when the huge swing in temperatures was more of a camber-related issue with the tire, possibly?
No, I doubt it. I mean, we hadn't had any problems all weekend, and the first set of tires looked good. So I don't know if I run something over or what it was. Just one of them deals. So we had a good car. You know, we were going to be right there all day long, I felt like, and we were still had some room to make it better too. So I wish we could have seen, but it's the way it goes sometimes.
Thanks, Mark.
Well, the best news is he is okay, because that was a hard hit.
You know what comes to mind, I think back to Auto Club Speedway, where Kevin Harvick had an issue, had damage, was out of the race or was not a factor. Martin Truex Jr. dominated that race, went on to win it, and then, you know, Kevin Harvick's dominating the race, and then Truex has an issue. I want to see these guys go head to head.
Hey, guys, we had about a dozen drivers take the rave round, most notably Jimmy Johnson in that 48. Remember, they made that stop at lap 52, so they can go about another 25 laps before they'd have to pit for fuel. So a little bit of the roll of the dice here by Chad Knaus.
What? Roll of the dice by Kyle Busch. He's chosen the outside as they approach the Geico restart zone. The start and the first restart, the driver restarting on the outside of row 1 was 5th or worst after the first lap both times.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gift to Kevin Harvick, although in the Xfinity race yesterday, we did see where that leader in the outside lane was able to get the lead pretty much every time. Look at Kyle Larson on the outside, going to take second.
I think
Harvick's not done, though. He's gotten back to his quarter panel.
I think that outside's okay when you're leader, because you get to break first. So it gives you a
Larson
bit of an
gets
advantage.
loose trying to turn down to the bottom. What an amazing run by Kyle Larson, coming all the way from the back. He has a fast race car. Oh, tight quarters there with Logano. Vince?
Well, you guys talking about that restart, and the inside definitely would be the preferred lane, but the spotters working up on the roof made a little deal between Kyle Busch's team and Kevin Harvick's team. That's why you saw Busch start on the outside and get his way back down. The big question is, does it end up costing Harvick spots? He was able to get that second position.
Well, I don't know if the guy that's been dominating on the mile and a half and has been dominating this race, if you got a shot to put him in that outside lane and lose some positions, I think I'd take advantage of that.
Well, but you know, the other part of that too is, hey buddy, I helped you, how about you helping me? We'll see how that works.
We'll see how that works.
A little co-opetition.
Yeah, baby.
Joey Logano, Kyle Larson. If you're wondering about Denny Hamlin, he got the free pass and then he got a pit road penalty. Not of his doing. They had an uncontrolled tire on Hamlin's stop. He had to restart tail end of the longest line, but he is back on the lead lap.
Gonna have to keep an eye on Kyle Larson here. His car's starting out pretty loose. It seemed like his car was really good on the long runs, that last longer run that we had. So we'll see if it tightens up a little bit for him as they make more laps.
And Mike, it just seems like a guy like Tim Larson who runs a lot of dirt tracks. He can ride on the right rear. It doesn't seem to bother him that much. A lot of guys don't like to feel that right rear digging like that. Doesn't seem to bother him at all.
We're in stage 2, which will go to lap 170. Kevin Harvick, the stage 1 winner, now second to Kyle Busch, half a second back.
And back to the restart there that we just had. 4-car might say, I ain't doing that no more. That deal's off.
Ryan Blaney trying to come back from a tire violation on a green flag stop. Started 4th, currently 12th.
Got a good race car. I think he'll be fine. He's back in the race. Car really works well for him. A really good long run car.
How about the one right in front of him, Jamie McMurray in 11th, Matt?
Mike, a solid run. The biggest thing they're trying to put together today is the entire race. And DW, you've said it many times, the person you don't want to beat is yourself. And that's what they've done 4 times this year. They've had to re-pit under green. Right now, he's running inside the top 10, just outside the top 10 in that buffer zone. But, you know, he ran the Xfinity race on Saturday. And Matt McCall told me he doesn't do it very often, but when he does, it really helps him get a good feel for the racetrack, but especially on pit road entry. And this is so tricky here.
And Matt, I just think it's so obvious. It's not just the driver. It's not just the car. It's not just the pit crew. It's all the parts that have to work flawlessly to win one of these races.
And Matt talked about the race yesterday, the Xfinity race, running laps. McMurray not typically doing that. That repetition is pretty good. You get a sense of the tire, sense of the racetrack conditions. Even though those cars have a little more downforce, less power in the Xfinity series, there is something you can learn, like coming to pit road under green.
Clint Boyer right there behind Brad Keselowski in 8th. Vince?
Yeah, concerns for Boyer, too. He's another one reporting that he's all of a sudden developed the vibration. And I can tell you, a lot of these teams are very cautious about that right front tire. They're so fast in these cooler conditions, concerned that it's just putting too much pressure on that right front. Certainly depending on how much camber you've got in the car, but that right front is a hot spot for many of the teams here on pit road.
We'll keep an eye on that. We're 15 laps into stage 2. 100 laps go up on the scoreboard. We're triple digits. How about a Fox NASCAR? Crank it up. Kevin Harvick has caught race leader Kyle Busch. Little cat and mouse game. Looks like Busch is faster into the corner. Harvick a little quicker coming off the corner.
Good luck in there today, bud. Let's go get us a cowboy hat. I tried a whole different process to build heat in the tires and just struggling with the front green, the grip. Too fast entering. Got to do a pass through. No way. Oh, you okay, bud? That hurt.
109 laps into the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500. Kyle Busch leading Kevin Harvick by 0.6 of a second. Harvick has not had as much luck getting through race traffic as race leader Kyle Busch caught a couple lap cars in the middle of the corner. Couldn't get back to the gas as quick as he would like. So what is Kyle Busch hearing from spotter Tony Hirschman?
You're beating him about 3/4 of a car length getting to the line. Once you get at the line, and then he's just throttling back up, out rapid. He's making it back up plus some exits where it's at. 1-2 clear.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. That's great information. You know, sometimes you just wish you had a TV monitor that could show you out the back of the car to see where they're gaining and losing on you, because I don't know if it would help if Kyle Busch would just roll around the bottom and back that entry up a little bit more, carry less speed to the center. If it would help him get pointed and carry more speed on the exit of turn 2, but that is definitely where Harvick's beating him.
Now Chris Buescher and Ty Dillon are on pit road. Larry seems a little early.
Well, these were drivers that took that wave around a lot like Jimmie Johnson under that last caution, and I would anticipate that the 48 car and Jimmie Johnson, they're going to have to come somewhere in about the next 5 to 8 laps if we don't get a caution. But right now he's 1 spot, 2 spots out of the free pass position.
Thanks, Larry. Riding with Kyle Larson. 5th place here behind Joey Logano.
I saw where he was pretty loose to start off this run, and we're going to follow it to see if maybe that car tightens up in traffic and as the air pressures build up, but it doesn't look like it. He's still pretty loose. But as you said, DW, it's not slowing him down a whole lot.
No, it's not.
Well, let's take a closer look at setups today with Larry Mack and the Ford Performance car.
Yeah, Mike, you heard Vince talking about Kyle Busch, the 18 car in camber. Let's talk about the camber in the front tires. You put what we call positive camber in the left front and negative camber in the right front. And what that does, you lean it to the inside. And when the car goes in the corner and it loads, it puts more of that footprint of the tire gripping the racetrack. And I think one reason that they're being a little aggressive with camber, this is normally not a place you would be, is because of the flatter corners down in turns 1 and 2. I know you normally are very aggressive, as Jeff, you and I were talking the other day for qualifying. Looks like to me they're still pretty aggressive for the race. I think a lot due to the banking in 1 and 2.
And then Larry, you got to think about something. These cars run, the chassis is locked down. It's solid. The only thing that will give on the car is the tire, the sidewall of the tire. That tire takes a beating, front and rear.
Kyle Busch in front by 0.3 of a second. 121 laps complete. Here's your 5-hour energy big move of the race.
Yeah, we see Kyle Busch gets up the racetrack a little bit, getting into 3 and 4. Can't quite get down to the bottom. And Kevin Harvick really gains on him down the front straightaway. Now we get down to turn 1. It looks like Kyle was a little bit nervous about turning all the way down in front of him. Maybe going to get loose getting in. That gets position to Kevin Harvick and gets the lead.
Remember, they worked together on that restart. I think they worked together a little bit on that pass.
It's a good point, DW.
Now, Jimmie Johnson, who was also on that different strategy, is the only car that has not pitted since lap 52. And here he is. Matt?
And Jimmie Johnson's going to go for a chassis adjustment on this stop on that 48 car. Coming around to the left side here. Solid stop so far. Like you mentioned, the only play they had was to take the wave around and try to ride it out. He made it up to almost 15th on this stop.
Took him a long time to get that right rear tire off. And now Johnson will rejoin the fray, but he does not get back to the lead lap. Here's 12th place battle out of 15 cars on the lead lap. Newman and Almirola.
Starting to see the sun come out just a little bit. Just starting to creep out. We expected to see full sun this afternoon, so if that track temperature heats up any more from the sun, look for some more adjustments these teams are going to have to make to the race cars.
Let me tell you, I don't know what's happening, but this 4 car, he just drove off and left the 18.
Yes.
I mean, once he got by Kyle Busch, it was adios, see you later.
125 laps complete. Now, a quick word from Duracell.
This is the #1 trusted brand.
Yeah, let's talk about Jimmie Johnson, this 48 team, and his crew chief, Chad Knaus. Chad, in the 1990s, he actually was a fabricator and a tire changer on Jeff Gordon's number 24 car. He left Hendrick Motorsports, and in 2000 with Ray Evernham's team, he was crew chief for Casey Atwood for 2 races. He returned to Hendrick Motorsports in 2002, became crew chief for a brand new team in the 48 car. With Jimmie Johnson, they won 3 races in his rookie season, and that's Duracell Driving Trust.
Boy, this is exactly how this race ended the last time we were in Texas for the 42 of Kyle Larson in the wall.
Larry, are we in that 40-lap window there where we've seen some tire failures?
Well, I told our producer, Barry Landis, we probably were within about 5 to 6 laps of everyone splitting this down the middle. The difference in the first run of the race and this run, the first run was with scuffed tires from qualifying. All of these runs are brand new sticker tires they're putting on there for every stop.
Larson was 4th when this happened.
Mike, I think that's a pretty hard lick too. You see Kyle, he's kind of get his composure there, leaning up against the car.
Yeah, and he rubbed his left elbow. That elbow sometimes can get the side of, even though it's a carbon fiber, I believe he runs a carbon seat, can really, when that car hits with that impact, get your elbow, not to mention your ribs.
All right, safety workers on the scene. These cars do have an onboard fire extinguishing system that can either be triggered by the driver or by excess temperature.
Certainly looking like another right front.
Yeah.
Tough break for Kyle Larson.
That is, oh my gosh, it just takes your breath right out of you.
And you can see the the cords and the tread just come apart, and that's what goes up through the hood. Bam. Wow, look at the angle.
Kyle, talk to us, bud. Yeah, that was lovely. All right, jump forward. Just take your time here. Take your time. What a hit that was.
You know what? Yeah, look at that right.
Well,
yeah, you
yeah,
see
the
the hood
already
start to flap. That's usually the tire coming to pieces.
That's violent.
I think it almost, I don't know if it did knock a hole in that wall. That thing hit violently.
Jamie.
Well, Vince earlier mentioned the issue with the 18 right front. There was like a blister on the outside. Well, the 42 had the exact same issue. 3 cars in the garage saw that after practice yesterday. Chad Johnston, Kyle's crew chief, told me he actually cut the tire to see what it was, and he said it really wasn't a blister. He wasn't sure, but he did tell me he really wasn't concerned about right front tires today. So we're going to hear from him shortly.
No, and this is the same right side tire we've run previously here at Texas. The left side rubber and composition and construction is new.
I just don't know if anybody was prepared to run as hard as we're running today. I mean, they are hammering these cars.
Matt?
And Brad Keselowski's guys waiting for him to hit the pit box. Now, Keselowski had been working the track bar adjuster feverishly during that run, trying to help the balance. Did not. Loose on entry, loose on exit. You see the wrench in the back window. They're going to make a chassis adjustment on the 2. Vince?
Well, the 18 of Kyle Busch, pitting from second, said it was freer this run, but then when he got behind Kevin Harvick, the car tightened up. Just an air pressure adjustment for the 18, Jamie.
Kevin Harvick in the 4 says he's just lacking rear grip all the way around, needs better turn through the center. A 4-tire stop here. Kurt Busch in the 41, no change really on the balance, and air pressure change, and 4 tires for the 41.
Boy, big trouble for the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Is going to lose a lot of spots.
Harvick loses 8 positions on pit road. Kyle Larson cuts down a tire. Hard crash. Kevin Harvick back to 9th place. We'll tell you why here in a bit. There is the pit crew comparison, a 1-second difference between his stop and Kurt Busch's. Here's the team communication.
Doesn't really matter. Just fix the problems. Lug nut got stuck in the jack, won't go down. Was something. Yeah, I just saw the replay. That one wasn't their fault, but I know what you're saying. Do the best you can here.
Well, we're going to find out just how good Kevin Harvick is, and here's that lug nut flying into the jack. Just watch this camera work. Wow.
Isn't that something?
You know, those lug nuts, we've seen them get behind some of the ducting and the wheel when they're putting them on. And
So now he can't get the jack under the car on the left side, has to release it, jump on it, clear that lug nut, and then get it up in the air, and that cost an extra second.
I actually think the jackman did a great job recognizing what was keeping the jack from going down. He reacted pretty quick. This could have been worse.
Great recovery. For more, let's go in the pit with RCR, presented by eBay Motors. Larry?
For 2018, NASCAR made significant changes to pit stops. Only 5 crew members are allowed over the wall, 1 less than a year ago. Teams must adjust their strategy and multitask, and the gas man will only be permitted to fuel the car and not do any maintenance or repair.
The right pit crew is ready for every fix because they have every part. Discover a huge selection of parts and tools lightning fast on eBay Motors.
.132 laps complete, and this caution flag not good for the wave around cars. Shop every part for every ride at ebay.com/motors. Here's Matt.
Unbelievable hit by the 42 of Kyle Larson. First, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thankfully, thanks NASCAR and their safety, because that was a huge hit. So just hate that I blew right front there. I was pretty tight, but didn't really expect to blow right front. Was restart up front there and was just really tight for a few laps, and then actually got going pretty good. Just needed to get by Joey there, and I felt like I was one of the faster cars out there. So felt like we could have had a shot at the end of the race, but it's cut short.
Mike?
Wow. I'm so glad that he's able to talk to Matt, because that was a very, very hard hit for Kyle Larson.
Also, I love his version of being tight, because all we saw was the back of that car stepping out, so it tells me that the car's tight through the center of the corner, but a little bit free as he tries to turn it down into the corner.
Kind of pushy loose.
Yeah.
All right, what kind of brotherly love? You've raced against your brother. What kind of brotherly love we're going to see here on this restart?
I guarantee they didn't make a deal. No deal was made on this restart.
Deal or no deal?
Do you want some help here, Kurt, or do you want to race this? I'm getting a spotter question from the other guy. A little brotherly love and cooperation. Everybody should be able to get along here.
Grandma, put your teeth in your pocketbook for this one.
Everybody should be able to get along. It's my brother.
Oh, boy.
I've seen this. Actually, I've seen this a couple of times before. It didn't turn out too well.
All right, here they come to the Geico restart zone. Kurt on the outside of Kyle. Green flag.
We saw Kurt Busch actually clear Kyle Busch and get to the bottom, but couldn't really maintain that bottom. Lost a little bit of speed up off of 2, but looked like he's going to maintain that lead.
Well, that's good. Add another chair to the Thanksgiving table at the Busch household.
Yeah,
well
that
done.
outside line is, you got that little bit of a break. You get to get on the gas just before the guy on the inside does. So that helps you get down into turn 1. Gives you a small break.
3 and 4 wide in the back as the Busch brothers battle for the lead. Eric Jones underneath Chase Elliott, 5th place there.
Yeah, Eric Jones actually got held up a little bit off of turn 4 the last time by lost some momentum. The 9 of Chase Elliott went to the outside, past Eric Jones going into turn 1, but then could not hold the lane.
Hey, here's Harvick coming back to pit road. Jamie.
Loose wheel, guys. His day was so good. He was the dominant car. They had that bad pit stop with the freak thing, and now he is coming now as you see him on pit road.
A bad day for the Masters of the mile and a half. Martin Truex out of the race after cutting a tire hitting the wall. And here's Harvick back in the pit.
And he's going to lose a lap.
Denny Hamlin working his way back to the front, battling for 10th with Eric Almirola. And William Byron got the free pass on that caution flag. So that gives us 14, 15 cars on the lead lap. 15.
You know what?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, DW.
All of a sudden, you got the 22 and the 12, two Penske cars, Fords, that have found their way to the front. I think that 12, I just keep thinking that 12 car is going to be the guy to beat when it's all over with.
Well, you know, to me, when I looked at today, I felt like track position, and it's going to be one on pit road if you got a good enough car to be up front. And I look at who's out front right now. Kurt Busch is our pole sitter. He's got the #1 pit stall, and typically this team has been one of the best and most consistent on pit road, even though we saw Kevin Harvick had some issues, but not the 41.
I tell you what, though, just I can't get over how fast we're running. We're running 27.90s, just hammer after hammer, lap after lap.
Jamie?
Hate to tell you guys, the 12 car at Blaney, loose wheel. He says he's coming.
Well, I guess I'll have to pick me another driver.
Blaney in 4th place. Ricky Stenhouse backup car. He crashed in practice. You know, Kyle Busch is looking to extend that streak of top 3 finishes and might just get him the W he's been waiting so long for here.
Well, you know, Hamlin's pretty good. He got himself back on the lead lap here, and he's pretty good at this joint, and we got a long way to go, guys. So I don't know. I keep an eye on that 11 car.
So Kevin Harvick is a lap down in distance, not quite 2 laps down. Here's Ryan Blaney, who will fall off the lead lap with this stop.
So I'm going to go 12, and he's out. I go 11. If he falls out, I'm going to go 10. And if he goes, I get to the 9.
Listen, I wouldn't count any of these guys out yet. There's still a lot of racing left to go. 2 fast race cars.
A.J. Allmendinger also to pit road.
Gosh, wow. A lot of loose wheels today.
Well, I think that was a pressure stop on these pit crews. You know, I think they're trying to get every split second out of it, just pushing a little bit too hard. If any, now that the limited number of pit crew members are on pit road, any little hiccup causes a domino effect to go down.
Yeah, even one little lug nut.
Yeah, in the jack.
Look at all the havoc that created. Vince?
Well, we've mentioned a couple of times that Kyle Busch has complained of a vibration, and it hasn't been just a set of tires. He's complained about it throughout the course of the race today, and that's what's leading them to believe that it's not the tires. In fact, crew chief Adam Stevens told Kyle after that last one the tires looked good again. So each set that they've pulled off, the tires have looked good on the 18, but he continues to be nagged by a little vibration that he feels in the car.
Kevin Harvick's issue was the right front tire.
And Mike, it never fails. When you see other guys have right front tire problems, it's on your mind. If you feel anything at all, any kind of a vibration, you think you've got a right front tire problem.
And Ryan Blaney, that was also a right front.
You know, I wonder sometimes on these types of racetracks, and both ends of the racetrack completely different. You know, flatter 1 and 2, more high bank, faster corner in 3 and 4. I wonder if there's a little bit of brake issues going on. We're just not using them heavy enough, but maybe building up a little pad on that rotor.
Kurt Busch leading from younger brother Kyle, Joey Logano, Eric Jones, and Clint Bowyer, your top 5. .150 laps complete in Texas. Chevrolet has the all-new 2018 Camaro on the track. Jeff Gordon took the street version of the Camaro on track for a unique look at TMS.
All right, exciting. Get to take a lap around Texas Motor Speedway. Gives me an opportunity to feel sort of what the drivers are feeling always been one of the most challenging mile-and-a-half racetracks as we get into turns 1, 2. Even right there, I mean, me in this street car, of course, we're carrying some good speed, but I could feel right there I carried a little bit more speed than I probably should have into turn 1 and paid the price. The car just doesn't want to stick around the bottom. So these drivers at the speeds they're carrying, when they go into turn 1, if they are in there 1-2 miles per hour too fast, they're going to pay a big price as they get to the center of the corner because the car's just not going to grip, not going to stay down the bottom. And that's what the name of the game is today here in Texas.
Chase Elliott, Ryan Newman carrying the bow tie banner in 6th and 8th place right now. Jimmy Johnson back in 24th after having to make that stop after taking the wave around to try to get a lap back earlier.
Yeah, he was on pit road, and what was it, 1 or 2 laps after that, that's when the incident happened with Kyle Larson, caused the caution to come out.
Kurt Busch up 0.3 of a second on younger brother Kyle, with Joey Logano 2.8 back.
So right now, we talked about Kevin Harvick and Truex and their dominance on these mile-and-a-halfs. When I go down the list, who's next as the next dominant and consistent driver and team? It's that 18 of Kyle Busch. Now, I give the advantage right now, pit road for the 41. They have the #1 pit stop from being on the pole the other day, and then their pit stops are really solid. But the 18 car, I think, is a better, faster car driver combination right now.
Yeah, when the 4 car was up out front leading the race, he was running about 28.30s. And the cars right now have slowed a little bit down to 28.50s and 28.70s. So I don't know if the sun coming out has maybe affected the track a little bit, dropped the pace down a little bit, but that's still hauling mail around this joint.
Well, you saw Ryan Blaney there. He's back in 21st and Kevin Harvick 20th, both a lap down and not even close to being in the free pass position right now at stage end.
Talk about aerodynamics being so important. Let's see.
I'm glad to know. I thought he was waving the white flag. Oh, come on, man, not yet.
You know, guys, a couple of cars I'm keeping my eye on. They've been kind of quiet, but they're in the top 5, and that's Eric Jones and Clint Boyer. Both of them running really solid lap times. I see them getting better and better with the adjustments they're making down on pit road. I think these two could become players later in the day if we stay green and continue this torrid pace we're on.
Good chance. Paul Menard having a tough day. He was caught up in that accident at lap 2 when Alex Bowman spun.
That's a shame. I thought they were really going to have a good day with that 21 car. Remember, that's the car Blaney pretty much dominated this race last year in.
Yeah,
had some trouble.
Won the first 2 stages.
2 stages. Yeah, had some trouble in the pits late, but I thought Paul was going to have a great day. Too bad he got caught up in an early accident.
Back on pit road once again.
I think a guy we talk over a little bit. We see the 41 here, our leader. 18's right behind him, but not too far back is that the yellow car, the 22 car of Joey Logano. He's lurking back there as well. So he's a guy we might keep an eye on as we get later into this race. There he is. Too far back.
And just 1.8 seconds behind Logano is Eric Jones in 4th. Vince?
Yeah, and it's been another good run for Eric Jones. Already 3 top 10s in the first 6 races, and he is doing it again today, running 4th. Remember, it's just his 2nd year in the Cup Series, and Chris Gale's 2nd year as a Cup crew chief. And Chris was telling me today, he said, you try to set realistic goals, but you know you want better every time you set that realistic goal. I'd say they're exceeding everything today. A nice run. We got a long way to go. Not through a stage 2 yet, but Eric Jones inside the top 10.
We talked to Eric at the start of the year about his goals for this season.
I think for me, the 2nd season, I think the playoffs are really something we need to make this year. I think last year we definitely should have made the playoffs, had a few things went a little bit differently. So this year, making the playoffs is huge for us, as well as contending and trying to win a race. I'd love to get our first race win this year. I think we have a great shot to do it.
Maybe today's the day.
I think they have a car that can win the race. I think he's a driver who can win the race. They got to close the deal. They get late stages of these races, and when you got to suck it up a little bit, they got to close the deal, and they'll be able to win.
But I also think, DW, this is the type of race that this team needed. They needed to put a solid run, have a fast car, build some confidence and momentum, and so they can start knocking on the door of a possible win.
Yeah, Jones' first Xfinity win came right here at Texas. How about Joey Logano, Jamie?
Well, he's been doing a great job today. The car has been handling really well, and he just said the front starts to give up at this point in the run, and then he cued the radio and said, I've got a vibration here. Do you think I have a loose wheel? Todd Gordon, his crew chief, said, no, our tire changers are confident. We got them tight, so they're keeping an eye on the 22.
Mike, I think a lot. I don't want to harp on camera. I know you get tired of hearing about that. But as fast as his pace is, as hard as they're driving these cars, we're loading up that right front tire more than I think we anticipated.
Ricky Stenhouse is in the top 10 in a backup car, and here's why. This happened earlier in the weekend.
Well, we've seen that safer barrier get some attention, more so than any of these drivers want to pay attention to it this weekend.
I watch those safer barriers. It's kind of funny. They give. I mean, when the car hits them, they give, and the car kind of bounces off. And I think about, I never saw a concrete wall do that.
Oh, no. It changes that impact a lot.
Guys, I was talking to crew chief Brian Patty down in the garage area earlier today, and he was telling me that this backup car is a brand new race car, identical to the race car they crashed in practice yesterday. And the interesting thing about that car yesterday, he had run the fastest lap in that session and was a tenth and a half faster on the lap he wrecked on than he was the lap before. So a lot of speed from the first car, and this one has it as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think what happened to Stenhouse in practice, I think that car, Jeff and I looked at a couple of times at the rerun of it. It looked like it maybe got on the splitter, and the car just went straight into the wall.
Whoa, we got a possible change for the lead here. I think that 41 of Kurt Busch got held up on a lap car, and the 18 of Kyle Busch really carried some momentum and took advantage of it.
Yeah, as they got past David Reagan.
Oh, wait, he's not giving it up yet. The crossover. Wow, great move by the 41 of Kurt Busch. Is Kyle Busch going to fight it back on the outside? Sure is. Wow.
I didn't think there was an outside groove till I saw that.
You think a stage win is important or what?
Yep, for 3 laps to the end of stage 2.
I think finishing ahead of your brother is important. That's what I think.
You would know something about that.
That's a built-in rivalry.
Kyle Busch has led 31 laps today, 32 when they come around. Kevin Harvick's led the most, 86 so far.
Young man just keeps, quietly going about his business. Eric Almirola here in the 10 car, running 10th, and just having a nice day.
And a second ahead of him, Denny Hamlin, after overcoming 2 pit road penalties, 1 on the driver, 1 on the crew. Hamlin up to 9th place.
Don't count him out.
Nope. Stenhouse in 8th with that backup car. Looks like we're going to finish stage 2 with 13 cars on the lead lap.
Pretty nice choice by William Byron and that 24 team. I think they took the wave around on that.
They got a free pass.
I'm sorry, they got the free pass. They're going to stay on the lead lap here.
Well, that 24 car was fast in practice.
Kyle Busch gets his 2nd stage win of the season. Older brother Kurt in 2nd. Logano, Jones, Boyer, Elliott, Keselowski, Stenhouse, Hamlin, and Almirola rack up stage 2 points, led by Kyle Busch. Welcome back to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, racing from Texas. Kyle Busch, with a 2nd and a win, has the most stage points today. There's a list of the top earners. And Pit road will be open this time. I guess if there's any question. Now Kevin Harvick is a lap down, pitted at lap 136. Ryan Blaney at lap 140, but thinking everybody will be in here with such a long distance to go to lap 334. Lead lap cars coming in this time. Here's Matt.
Mike, it's taken about 170 laps for Brad Keselowski to finally get the full sun that he needed. He said that in turns 3 and 4, he cannot run the middle groove. He just loses the nose. He's been working the track bar adjuster, you name it, significant adjustment again on this race car to try to improve the balance, Vince.
Well, no such adjustments on the 18 of Kyle Busch. It was a little bit free, but Kyle was adjusting the track bar from inside. They are not going to touch it at all. Another nice job from the crew. Jamie?
Joey Logano relieved to come in and get those tires off after that vibration. A 4-tire stop here, and they made a wedge adjustment. The 41 and Kurt Busch apologized for not winning that stage. They made a wedge adjustment, took some out in a 4-tire stop.
Look at Erik Jones. That's the second time today that he has gained 3 or more spots on a pit stop.
Nobody could keep up with the Joneses on that stop.
No.
What do you say we talked to his teammate who won that stage? Hey, Kyle, this is Jeff up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Well, man, that was fun to watch. You and your brother battling it out. Got that stage win. We see some of your rivals have some issues, but you guys are solid. You think you got what it takes to win today?
I'd certainly like to think so. We've been doing it all year long. We've been right there close. And there's some other good guys that are right around us here that are close just like us. So we'll see what it takes. You know, the Interstate Batteries Camry's been good. We just keep kind of fine-tuning on it, picking and choosing what we need to adjust on here, and it feels pretty good. So hopefully we can keep it out front.
All right, well, good luck. Have some fun.
Thank you.
Lap down cars pit this time around, and then we'll line them up for stage 3. 159 laps to go in Texas. Shop every part for every ride. eBay.com/motors. Next week, this.
Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great. Some achieve greatness. And some have greatness thrust upon them. 500 laps in the Great Coliseum. Bristol, next Sunday.
.500 laps around racing's Great Coliseum.
And I can't wait.
None of us can.
Whew. Here's Vince.
Well, pretty big chunk out of the right front on the inside shoulder of Kyle Busch as he came in with crew chief Adam Stevens. What do you make out of that? That was scary looking.
Yeah, you know, I don't think it happened while we were actually racing on the track, or he surely would have said something. We had some vibrations earlier in the race, and the tires looked fine. We had one come apart in practice, but it was on the outside of the tire, so we haven't seen this all weekend. I'm sure he'd let us know if he had an issue on the racetrack.
That's for sure. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Vince. Erik Jones, Kyle Busch's teammate, last year's Rookie of the Year from Michigan, first out of the pits. They have that 20 team has really been on it today. I think on one stop they picked up 8 positions on pit road. They'll come out of turn 4 to the Geico restart zone. We'll be back under green for stage 3. Green flag. And Jones arcs it in there with the lead. Here comes Chase Elliott.
Kyle Busch is loose.
No. Kyle Busch was sideways.
And, you know, he cut his teammate a little bit of a break, checked up early getting into turn 1 and allow Erik Jones to the bottom. But then you saw Chase Elliott on the outside of the 18 and the 41 right there.
Trouble! One car around and one in the wall.
Hamlin's in
11 and the 10.
And
Hamlin,
48.
Keselowski involved, and Almirola, and Jimmy Johnson. Good grief.
That was crazy. 38's torn up, 10's torn up.
We're going to go all the way back to the restart as Hamlin limps his wounded car to pit road. So does Keselowski going by. Now watch the 18 here.
It just looks to me like he just checks up a little bit, let the 20 down, and that gets the 9 to the outside of him. That gets him loose. Right there, he gets loose. Now they're going to take him 3 wide. Stenhouse on the outside in the 41, 14 go by.
And here comes that accordion effect. There's Almirola.
There, now they're 3 wide.
Murray.
Oh, he checks up a lot. Oh, that gets 11 loose underneath the 10 and Almirola.
Oh boy, the 2 got a ton of damage. So did 48. Wow, the 48 plowed in that inside wall. There's a 6. That took out a bunch of cars, guys. Like the 11 got a little bit loose, maybe under the 10. Couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting Almirola to check up as much as he did.
I think Almirola knew the 18 was on the outside. He let him just kind of go in there on the outside. I'm not sure if that affected him or not.
Wreck in here. Keep staying slow. Stay slow. Keep coming straight.
Tell you guys, Jimmy Johnson pounded that inside wall.
Keep rolling right down
But he has
here.
put the window net down. That's the signal to the safety crews that he's okay. So it's Denny Hamlin that goes sideways in front of half the field.
This is why it's so important to have a wall that's softer on the inside as well as the outside.
Here's some audio from Kyle Busch and his team.
Okay, well, the 9 is done. Lots of laps left. We're better than all those jokers out front. We'll get it back.
Yeah, Kyle Busch not real happy with the 9 of Chase Elliott, feeling like that maybe got him loose.
Well, Hamlin's already out of his car and got a lot of damage.
I've got 7 cars involved in that one, beginning with Hamlin and Almirola. Trevor Bayne, Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, all piled up in this turn 4 crash. Eric Almirola trying to make the turn into the garage. And here's what he said to his team.
I don't know what else I could have done any different. I backed out to not do something stupid with the 18.
Yeah, the weather was right on your left rear. It didn't help anything, but.
All right, so we're going to watch a couple of cars here. The 10 of Almirola, who is right there, and the 11 of Denny Hamlin right here.
And I agree with Eric Almirola. I'm not so sure there's a whole lot more he could have done. He recognizes the 18's not going to lift the ones on the inside. He checks up here. You just can't anticipate the 11 of Denny Hamlin to dive in there and then get loose.
Yeah, I think Almirola being there upset the 11 car, got him a little bit loose and got into Almirola is what really triggered that.
Yeah, I think that was Denny Hamlin trying to stay out of the 10 of Almirola, and it just brought the back end around.
Yep, snapped on him. Almirola's right. I mean, he knew he'd let Kyle Busch go. I'm good here. Here comes the 11. Plenty of room.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shallow entry for the 11. He was, a little bit lower on the racetrack, so he did have to pinch it off and hold that wheel. It's interesting. It gets the left front fender of the 48. Look how that just turns that car left straight down into this inside barrier.
It probably locked up that somewhere. It couldn't turn the car with that left front caved in.
Like.
Good thing those tires were all lined up down there.
Yeah, Texas Motor Speedway now has either safer barrier or a tire wall like that all the way around the inside wall as well as the outside. So one car that was one of the pre-race favorites, and they've had their issues today, is Kevin Harvick's. Here's Jamie.
And he was dominant early on. Then they had that freak pit stop where a lug nut got stuck in the jack, and then they had a loose wheel. And now Kevin Harvick thinks he may have another loose wheel. What are you thinking about so many loose wheels today? Is there a common denominator here?
Yeah, it's frustrating. The crazy part is the lug nut in the jack. I don't know if we could do that again if we had to, but the loose wheels. At some point we got to get these guns better. I've bit my lip all year about this stuff, and I'm tired of biting my lip about it. So we got to get some better stuff out here for these guys to change tires with, and hopefully we can do that over the next few weeks. But you know, Kevin had problems yesterday in the Xfinity race because of the same issue, and here we go again today. So we got a good Busch Light Ford. I mean, the car's been just crazy fast all weekend, and hopefully we can get our lap back here. Probably should have stayed out and took the wave around, and we were just scared of, you know, having to pit early and go 2 laps down. And but feel good about our car, feel good about what we got, and I still think we can get back up there and win the race if we can just get a caution and get our lap back. So hopefully we can do that.
Thanks, Rodney. Matt?
And I think the person who gets the MVP for today is actually the person who designed the safer barrier and also the system using the tires as well. Good to see you're okay, Jimmy. Kind of talk to us as far as what you saw through your windshield transpire.
Yeah, by the time I saw what went on, the 11 was backwards and smoking the tires coming up the track. I knew where his arc was taking him, and I knew that I was in trouble in the outside lane and going to get into him some, and then the crash just kind of continued from there. So unfortunate circumstances, but a lot to build on from this weekend. A strong Friday, a fantastic Saturday, and then not the best Sunday. We had a lot of different things work against us today, but we're getting closer each and every week, and I'm really proud of everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, and we'll get back to our winning ways soon.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Matt. Those energy absorbing barriers, boy, both on the racetracks and on the highways. Great to have. And Jimmie Johnson is okay, but the defending winner of this race will not go to victory lane today. The red flag is out. Let's join Chris and Michael for a Monster Energy race break.
Thank you very much, Mike Joy. And for the 2 dominant drivers so far this season, it's been a rough go. We start early. Lap 3, Alex Bowman in the 88 loose in turn 4, and Bubba Wallace, Austin Dillon, Menard, Suarez all get caught up in this. And then Martin Truex Jr., a right front tire and a hard hit done for the day.
What a vicious angle that was into the outside wall. Is lucky to Martin was able to walk away.
He was okay, was running second at the time. Harvick takes stage 1. Then Kyle Larson, another a right front tire here into the wall, hard hit. He was running 4th at the time, also out of this race.
Yeah, just 40 laps on those tires. And then trouble on pit road's been a theme also all day long. We talked to Rodney Childers about loose wheels, but then watch this, just freaky that this nut can fly into that jack like that.
You heard his crew chief talk about it. They had to go back. They actually went a lap down, and then moments ago, lap 178, 7 cars involved here, and you heard the discussion from Almirola on the radio. It's like Hamlin just got in to the 10 car there and triggered this, involving Jimmie Johnson, Brad Keselowski, and others.
Do you remember the speed, 180, 90 miles an hour down in that turn, Chris? He had a bad angle. He entered really low. He couldn't keep the front end turned, tried to stay off of Almirola and cause contact.
And we welcome you inside the Hollywood Hotel in this Monster Energy race break. Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, hope you're enjoying the race. It looked like Harvick the dominant force early. You saw the issues there. Kyle Busch still the driver to beat. At least they're confident positioning where they are, Michael, at the moment.
Well, I talked about Erik Jones quietly making his way toward the front. He is now our leader. He could be tough. Remember, he's won 3 races here at Texas, including sweeping the Xfinity Series last year. So he can get it done here. But then Chase Elliott, I'm beginning to watch the speed that cat's got. He's really closing ground on the leaders as far as lap time goes. Now that they're out front, they might be tough to beat.
All right, let's check in real quick with Matt Yoakum. Matt?
And Brad Keselowski has walked out of the infield care center. You've had a chance inside the hospital to see the different replays. Where's the blame fall on this one?
Aerodynamics. You know, just the cars, when you get side by side, they just aren't meant to run that way. So that's a tough finish for us. We're just kind of sludging wrong in that 5th to 10th range, and it's like we gain a few spots, come up, lose a few spots, go back, and you know, just got in that restart and I wrecked in front of us, and I probably picked the wrong direction. You know, it was pick left, pick right, and I picked right, and the car slid up and I got into him. So tough break for everybody on the team, but we'll work on it and get better for next time here at with Miller Lite Ford.
A lot of like being at the grocery store. You think you're going to pick the fastest lane, Chris Myers, and it turns out to be the slowest one. Never works.
0 for 20 now. Brad Keselowski, thanks Matt and Brad, in his career at this track with all that he's accomplished. And the Penske Fords have run well this year, but yet no wins. It's interesting, Kyle Busch, All 3 of his second-place finishes, Michael, this year have come to Stewart Haas Fords. He still has Kurt Busch ahead of him, currently running 3rd. What about Joey Logano's position at this moment?
I like where Joey is, and after the grid walk, I went by to see Joey again, and he said, I'm confident in this car, Mike. I think we can win the race. That's an awesome sign to feel that way. And think about Blaney. He's in the free pass position right now. He might get his lap back, and that's a really fast Ford as well. He could be a contender.
All right, so we're under red flag because of the 7-car crash here. Eric Jones in the 20 car, currently your leader, and his crew chief is standing by.
And with Chris Gale, not only has his driver done a terrific job, but your crew, your pit crew has been phenomenal today. I've picked up 6 or 7 spots. What's been the key to their success today?
Oh, I think, you know, they've committed more. Those are a great group of guys that have worked hard and kind of been below where they should have been all year. Their capabilities were higher, and I think this last couple off weeks they had some time to come and work harder, and it's exciting to see how much they've improved, because I know they've had the potential. We all know that. It's exciting to see it happen today. So hopefully they keep after it as a breakout for them, and we do it consistently now.
What are you seeing in the development from Eric, just his 2nd year in the Cup Series, knocking on the door of his first win, 3 top 10s this season? Is this a day that you feel like you guys could maybe break through?
Oh, it definitely is. You circle some of the favorite racetracks for Eric, and these next 2 were one of them. Texas and Bristol are his 2 favorites. So I definitely think so. You know, it's you try to build and do a little bit more each year and see the development. I think you're seeing that with him. He's finishing races, running up front, and now it's just consistently top 5s and then getting that win.
Thanks, Chris. Let's go to Matt.
Denny Hamlin lived it. He's also seen the replay. So if you had a chance to do it over again, what move would you do differently?
Not speed on pit road in that first segment. It just shouldn't have been in that position, but obviously the 18 was falling back there. 10 made a move on the inside. Everyone's fighting for the bottom, and I was obviously running the bottom there. The 10 tried to squeeze, and I realized that he was going to come down. I got out of the gas and I got loose underneath of him. It's still, you know, it's my responsibility to keep my car under me, but we just were in so tight quarters there that there was nearly impossible to do. But all starts with me at the beginning of the race. I mean, it's my fault. I hate it for this race team. We got a car that I thought was very capable of winning in this race, and unfortunately we're back here.
Very classy. Thanks for your honesty, Denny.
Right. And there were 5 pit road speeding penalties last year for Denny Hamlin. And look at the wrecks. Since Daytona, which was probably the best race we've had this season in terms of competition and the lead changes, and then the next 5 races and kind of the action that we've had today.
And Darrell called it. He talked about attrition, how that we would see a lot of action. We saw early in the Xfinity race yesterday happening in today.
Darrell Waltrip could call attrition, just don't ask him to spell it, right? All right, let's check in with Matt Yoakum.
And Eric Almirola spent much of the day in the Cuban Missile Zone, really the 7th through 14th area. During the race, had a really good run going, and then when you saw the 11 pull down on the inside, where you're like going, oh, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it?
No, I wasn't as concerned with him as I was just making sure that I didn't do something stupid getting into turn 3 with the 18. The 18 got really loose in turn 1 and 2, and I had a run down the back straightaway, and I got inside of him, and McMurray was inside of me, and I didn't want to be in the middle of 3 wide getting into turn 3, so I kind of backed out of it and let the 18 have the top, and the 11 just got loose under me, and we wrecked. It's just really hard when you come to these repaves. We're all fighting for the bottom. The middle lane is very sketchy. The 3rd lane is even more sketchy. So you have to run right down on the door of the car inside of you, and unfortunately, the car on the inside typically gets loose, and I hate it. Our Smithfield Ford Fusion was really good today. We were going to run top 10 for sure, and we were making the car better and better every pit stop, and I thought we could have continued to work on it, maybe made it a top 5 car, and if you make it a top 5 car, anything can happen at the end of these races, and that's what I'm most disappointed about.
A lot of action here at Texas Motor Speedway. 153 laps to go. Red flag lifted. Will go green in just a moment. This has been a Monster Energy Race Break.
$151 laps to go in the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 when they come to the line and get the restart green flag, led by 2 drivers who each won their first Xfinity race here and are both looking for their first Cup win, Eric Jones and Chase Elliott. Green flag. like this Eric Jones kid. As Stuart Scott used to say, he's as cool as the other side of the pillow.
And you said it, Mike, and we heard it from Chris Gale. If there's a favorite racetrack on the schedule for Eric Jones, it's definitely Texas Motor Speedway. 3 Xfinity wins here.
Yeah, we've been expecting these youngsters to break out. This might be the day.
Ryan Blaney got the free pass, so we restart with 11 cars on the lead lap.
Boy, this battle's been heating up. Saw this materialize through 1 and 2, where the 17 was sort of pinning down the 18 of Kyle Busch. We heard him complaining about that earlier, how much it made him loose.
Tell you one thing, at Stenhouse, he's not afraid to go on the outside. He's on the outside of turn 1 and 2. Now, you don't see that very often, and he is eating the outside of 3 and 4 up.
I don't think he's going to want to get down there for long.
Now, the battle for the free pass is the 43 and the 4. They are the first 2 cars 1 lap down, Wallace and Harvick.
Yeah, so you know that Bubba's going to fight really hard for this position with the 17. He wants to get away from that 4 car. He got a little loose. Looked like the 1 car, I don't know if he clipped the grass, Bubba did, or the 1 car got right up on his rear bumper, but
something
he got
happened
really
to the
loose.
4 car right there slid up the hill.
Way up, and he lost a spot, maybe 2.
I tell you, Bubba Wallace got a pretty good race car today, guys. He's hanging right in there.
Look at Newman to the inside of Harvick. Now, that not a battle for position. Newman is on the lead lap in the 31. Harvick is 1 lap down, battling Trevor Bayne for position. This is for position. This is 7th place here. McMurray and Stenhouse.
Oh, McMurray's real loose underneath the 17. Boy, I tell you, aerodynamics of taking the air off that right side of the car affects these cars more here than I've ever seen.
Well, I think it's the speed, Jeff. They're 200 miles an hour. It's just making a big difference today.
Big move by McMurray, just going up the racetrack trying to block the 17, but that's not going to work.
I tell you, that Stenhouse is wheeling that thing today, guys. And that's a backup car. You know, he wrecked in practice on Friday. They got the old backup car out, and that thing looks pretty racy.
Harvick way down to the inside there, right behind Casey Kane. That will be for 15th. And at the lead, Kurt Busch stalking sophomore driver Eric Jones. Vince?
Yeah, Jones, the Rookie of the Year in the Cup Series a year ago, just 21 years of age. Chris Gale was telling me earlier today, he said, you know, you can lean on Kyle and Denny and talk to those guys and glean information from them over and over and over, but at some point, you just have to know what the feel is that you need, and you have to be able to go out and do it. And I just wonder, Jeff, is there a time when that clicks with you as a young driver to where you know you're ready to win?
Well, you've got to experience 500-mile races. That's what you have to do. You have to go to that track a few times and get an understanding of how that car works at that track. Every race car driver has a feel for what they like the race car to drive like, but it's a totally different set of circumstances when you have long races that you have to adjust on when the conditions change over the entire race.
My experience was, Jeff, if I went to a racetrack the first time and I did pretty well there, that became one of my favorite racetracks, and I couldn't wait to go back there and run again. And I think Eric Jones, he got his first Xfinity win here. It's one of his favorite racetracks. That makes a big difference in your mindset.
What's that on Kurt Busch's car?
Well, we saw some debris down the back straightaway on that shot a couple.
Right front.
Yeah, a couple laps ago, and I'm wondering if he picks up this on his splitter. See, Eric Jones goes by. It almost looks like some type of a Bondo tape.
It looks like tape, yeah, Bear Bond.
Bear Bond.
And it's not in a bad, I mean, it's in a position it's not going to hurt anything.
Well, but we talk about how important that splitter is to front downforce, so I would think that would affect the air just a little, maybe not a lot.
Got a lot of cars that have been repaired with crash damage out there on the track. Well, mention Alex Bowman. We had Bowman going into the garage earlier. Apparently that was for a mechanical problem because he came back out, and Bowman, who triggered the first caution of the day back at lap 2, is still running, albeit 35 laps down.
And if you want to talk about another driver who this is possibly one of his favorite tracks. That's Chase Elliott. He won his first Xfinity race also here at Texas.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Jones right now running first, Elliott third, and Logano. We always forget about Logano. He's 27 years old. I mean, he's a kid. And look at all the experience he has.
Fifth place at stake here. Now, earlier in the race, when Kyle Busch was battling Kevin Harvick, Busch was faster into the corner. Harvick was quicker off the corner. Don't know if that's a Ford characteristic, because we're seeing much the same kind of cat and mouse thing here with Kyle Busch and Logano.
It might be a tire thing. He might have realized that he was charging a corner too hard, and maybe he's backed off just a little bit to save that right front tire.
Joey pulls him just a little bit off the corner. Kyle will make that back up going into the corner.
But it could be just the strength of the car, of the 18 of Kyle Busch. His car might just be a little more comfortable getting into the center of the corner. He can carry a little more speed, but it does look like he gets pretty tight through the center and can't make that second portion of the corner gain the way he'd like to. But he's going to put the pressure on him in his strength, which is the entry of the corner. But look at how it costs Kyle Busch through the center and the exit.
Mike, I can't tell you, when you've got a handful of steering wheel, you're wide open in the throttle from the middle of the corner, all you're praying is, please don't let anything happen to that right front tire.
Right. Well, it's been a day of damage for a lot of contenders and favorites. Still 137 laps to go. Welcome back to Texas. 133 laps to go. Erik Jones has now been out front for 29 of them. Can he go the rest of the way? Well, let's check with today's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Well, Mike, we've seen how strong Stewart-Haas Racing has started off this season, and I got my eyes on Kurt Busch. I think this race is going to be won on pit road. He has a #1 pit stall and a very fast pit crew.
Jeff, I'm going to stick with my theme of giving attaboys out. We talked about Ricky Stenhouse Jr. after that practice crash on Friday. Backup car for the third time this year. He has raced his way to the front and raced his guts out. He could be in position to get Roush Fenway Racing's their first top 10 of 2018.
You know, I've been waiting for these young guns to show up. Today, they're showing up. My man Erik Jones is leading this race. He might get his first win, but Mike, it's AT. He's got 2 T's in attrition, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, 3 counting the other one.
Oh, that other one. Got it.
I'm going to tell you who's going to win this race, fellas. It's Chase Elliott. He got his first Xfinity win here in Texas. He loves this racetrack. He's finished second 7 times in the Cup Series. It's time to win. We're going to ring that siren down in Dawsonville, Georgia, baby.
Kyle Busch has 4 straight top 3 finishes, everything but a W. There's no W in attrition, Darrell.
Oh, man.
All great picks, guys. All great picks.
You know what's going to be bad? Boyer took a picture of how I spelled attrition.
Oh, no.
I don't know where that's going to show up.
I know where it's going to show up.
Oh, my gosh.
Watching Joey Logano in 5th and Kyle Busch in 6th. And we're going to drop through the field here with Jamie McMurray 7th, Ricky Stenhouse 8th, Ryan Newman and Ryan Blaney 9th and 10th. William Byron 11th, last car on the lead lap. There's Newman. 12.7 back of the lead.
And doing what he does well. He just solid and just there all day long, talking about Ryan Newman. But Ryan Blaney, he's had to overcome some adversity. Got a little damage to the nose, dealing with that adversity also.
And a pit road penalty as well. William Byron is the last car on the lead lap, 18 seconds back. Had a free pass to get back on the lead lap earlier, as Ryan Blaney did on this last caution flag. Now those are the lead lap cars. 1 lap down, Bubba Wallace and Kevin Harvick have been battling for the free pass position. Matt?
Great start to the year for Bubba Wallace when he finished second in the Daytona 500. And I talked to Drew Blickensderfer this morning. He said they felt like, in a way, they were a little disappointed. They haven't really overachieved. They've shown flashes of brilliance, but different things of their doing, not of their doing, really hasn't been able to lock in some solid finishes. But this is the type of weekend that they need. Good on Friday, better on Saturday, and really having a great day here today. Trying to put the whole weekend together to build some momentum.
Now, I'm going to give him a lot of credit right now. He's got the fastest car, possibly the fastest car out there behind him, one of the best in the business, Kevin Harvick, on his bumper. And I've not seen him make a mistake. Look at him just holding that white line. If he can do that, he's going to make life real difficult for Kevin Harvick. Well, you heard Kevin Harvick had to get out of the throttle. That's aerodynamics at this place. And then that right front tire starts to slide a little bit. That's what you've got to do. You got to check up.
But let me tell you, a guy that's just putting down lap after lap after lap, a little bit quicker than everybody, and that's this cat right here. I mean, he's been in the 28, 40s to 50s every lap, real consistent, nice and smooth, holding a pretty wheel right now.
Good young race driver. He's our Toyota top performer right now, with Kyle Busch in sixth, nearly 6 seconds back. I have to go another 4 seconds back to find Chase Elliott, who's the leading Chevrolet in the race. There he goes, Jamie.
And Mikey's running third right now. He qualified 20th, and I talked to his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, for quite a while this morning, and he said, we haven't been the fastest car by any means, but the bottom line is the driver is comfortable, and when Chase is comfortable with the car, I know we'll be decent. And something else he pointed out, we heard so many crew chiefs saying yesterday's practice sessions, well, they were a waste, but actually Alan told me what they learned in that final practice session helped him set up the car for today, and it looks like it's paying off. They've made good adjustments to this race car, and now he's in solid third.
Well, Jamie, speaking of adjustments, as a crew chief, I've made an adjustment on my agenda of how I'm going to handle this race should we stay green. Yeah, we know the fuel window is 55 to 60 laps. We last pitted at 180, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this race out to about 35 to 40 laps a run. I know we're going to be safe right there. And so I think when we're going to be pitting is when you see about 110 to 115 to go right there, we're probably going to see green flag stops.
Larry, we may see Chase Elliott right now. Concern about a right front tire. Jamie.
Yes, right as we were talking about him, he came on the radio and said, right front, I got a vibration, bringing it down pit road right now. I don't know how many cars this is now, especially good cars running at the front of the pack. Chase has had a solid day all day long. Now it's the first time we've heard him say that he does have that vibration.
That's too bad.
And that's the first time he's been up front with the leaders on the restart. So you're going to run harder and faster and put a little more heat as well as stress on that right front tire.
But Mike, I like the way Junior Johnson, he never said Chevrolet, he said Chevrolet. And those Chevrolets were looking pretty good there for a while.
But that Toyota on the left of your screen is looking great right now, and Erik Jones is no stranger to the front here. Yes, it's the first time he has led at Texas in a cup race. He's been out front now for 42 laps, second most, but he's been to victory lane 4 times here. Once in the Truck Series, 3 times in the Xfinity Series.
So I got to think this is one of his favorite racetracks.
Will be after today, won't it?
But he certainly, like you said, DW, he has a feel for this place, a confidence. He knows what he needs in the race car and how it needs to feel, and that's paying off for him today.
Kind of reminds me of a David Pearson. They used to change tracks. I remember they changed Charlotte Motor Speedway to try to slow Pearson down. Did a couple of things to the track, thought that'd do it. Didn't affect him one bit. Same thing they did here to this racetrack. They changed 1 and 2, but it hadn't affected Erik Jones one bit.
Well, Pearson had won 10 poles in a row at Charlotte, and Humpy Wheeler dug up one end of the racetrack and repaved it. Pearson went out, won the pole again, and told Humpy, you changed the wrong end.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to these young guys today. We're seeing Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Erik Jones up there leading. This is a tough 1.5 mile racetrack, and they're doing a great job mastering it. So how about on behalf of these young guys, we crank it up.
Still out there, right rear, clear. up, whatever you need. I'm not back. Still there? Clear. Right, it's real late to get back to gas, I guess, if we're loose. Looks tight, but I guess he just can't back to gas. You'll be clear behind him, clear to the 15 there. He's got the 22 and the 18, 4 back from him. About 2 back to the 14. 1 back, he's going to be inside, all by himself. Clear behind him, clear. 9 behind you, pitted about 10 laps ago. He's in position as well. Back, looking inside. Another one coming, then a big gap. All good then.
There's the battle for the first car, 1 lap down. The 4 and 43. Kevin Harvick makes the pass of Bubba Wallace. And a moment ago, Kyle Busch just passed Joey Logano for 4th place.
Boy, that battle for get in that lucky dog position. Bubba Wallace and Kevin Harvick, they were having a heck of a fight there for who was going to get that spot.
Well, now there's going to be a heck of a battle with the 9 of Chase Elliott right behind Kevin Harvick because he had to pit and put those 4 tires on under green. He's now battling with Kevin Harvick to be that first car 1 lap down.
And Elliott has much fresher tires. The report was they had a loose wheel.
Yeah, he can't. Kevin Harvick can't hold the 9 off. He was coming in a big way.
I'm still so impressed with how long Bubba Wallace held off the 4 of Kevin Harvick. That was pretty impressive.
He never made a mistake. I mean, he just drove his own line, drove his own race, and didn't even let Harvick bother him.
You hear Kevin Harvick not as quick back to the gas as he was early in this race.
No, but the 9 is so much better right now with those 4 fresh tires on there. He's just coming to eat Harvick up pretty quick.
Yeah, but the longer you stay back there behind him, the more you build that air pressure up in that right front tire, and the harder it is to get by him. So he's got to take action right away here.
I think where the tires make the big difference is probably been in 1 and 2. You can get in there a little better, get back a little quicker, which is hard to do.
Oh, that's Austin Dillon.
And he's coming to pit road,
guys. And he's in the pits. Remember, he was involved in that lap 2 accident at the start of the day.
Change R4. We can try it, see what it does, right?
All right, out away. 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're right in that window again, I think, right around 40 laps. Well, we've seen some people have tire trouble.
Daryl, this is the furthest we've went on a set of tires. I got to believe they're going to start hitting pit road here shortly. I know I certainly would.
Whoa.
Wow. I mean, what could be causing that
brake
flame?
Brake
is that
duct,
one of the duct hose or something?
It's probably a hose or something with the brake ducts.
Yeah.
106 laps to go.
So most of these leaders, they pitted at lap 173. Now, we did have all of those cautions during that red flag period. Realistically, fuel-wise, they can go probably close to 240. But I think we're trying to stretch these tires an awfully long way.
But with 105 to go, Larry, if you stop now, that would be 2 runs of more than 50 laps.
Yeah, what they may try to do is go 5 more laps, and that way then they can do 50 and 50. Here they come, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano following them in.
Well, we know that. We saw where that 18 had an issue on his right front, so no surprise there on pit road.
Vince?
Well, the 18 of Kyle Busch, you guys indicated that right front issue. We talked with Adam Stevens. They didn't feel like that was something that happened during the run, or at least not that he was complaining about. Has not complained about a vibration during this particular run. A 4-tire change, just a slight air pressure adjustment for the 18, Jamie.
And Joey Logano's had a good day. He's been running top 5 most of the race. Builds tight as the run goes on. It's just 4 tires. Air pressure adjustment was already made as they work on the left side of the car. And he's down.
All right, watching for the leader. Here's Matt.
James Craig and Corey Baldwin, the changers, going to work, getting those lugs on, coming around, both in tune with each other. McMurray said the car was fairly tight on that run. Air pressure shuffle to try to improve that.
And the leader is in. Eric Jones is on pit road. Kurt Busch becomes the new leader. Vince?
Eric was talking about the car just getting a little bit tight in 1 and 2. He was working the track bar adjuster inside the car to help him with that a little bit. They were really encouraging him to keep up the momentum when he was passing those lapped cars. They are going to make a little bit of a chassis adjustment here to try to help him out in 1 and 2. Otherwise, he's been pretty pleased.
That pit crew of his has been spot on today. They got him the lead. Pretty good stop right there.
So Kurt Busch will come to pit road. That will hand the lead to William Byron if he stays out, who started last after an engine change after practice. Jamie.
And the 41 of Kurt Busch. It's been 41 races since he last won. That, of course, is the Daytona 500 in 2017. The team has been flawless today. This car has been good. In fact, Kurt Busch said it is good right now. He didn't want any adjustments. A 4-tire stop from the #1 box.
Austin Dillon's gone to the garage area with problems you saw in the rear end there when he made that last pit stop. Since that is a mechanical issue, I believe NASCAR would allow him to make repairs and come back out. So William Byron gets to lead a lap in Texas. Comes to pit road.
Really like this kid, Mike. I think he's going to have a great year when they get to the second half of the year particularly.
Vince?
Just a little bit snug for William Byron. He said he's been very pleased, particularly as the race has gone on, with the way the car is handled. Overall, said maybe just free it up just a little bit, so they'll make an air pressure adjustment on the 24. But this kid continues to impress. Another strong effort from this entire team, led by crew chief Darian Grove.
I like Darian Grove. I think he's good.
Caution, 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 21.
Paul Menard being called for the caution. And Kevin Harvick, who did not pit, will benefit from this one. He is running in second place right now after all the pit stops. How about that?
You just never know.
He gains 9 positions during the pit cycle by staying out. Some days you have a little bad luck. A lug nut ends up in the wrong place. Some days you have a little good luck.
Yeah, that's definitely some good luck. He's also going to go behind a lot of those cars that already came down pit road. They're not going to come back in. They're going to stay out. So
remember,
he's back in it.
But he's in it.
Remember, Paul Menard had a lot of damage from that crash back at lap 2. They worked and worked on it. Here's what happened.
Now that's what happens when the tire goes down on the straightaway.
All clear there. All clear to come down.
You got a little more time to soften that hit.
And remember that big free pass battle that had been going on? Bubba Wallace gets the free pass.
So it's win-win for both of them.
And Chase Elliott. Did Chase end up back on the lead lap? Yes, he did.
Chase Elliott also.
Yep.
Wow. That was big for a lot of people.
It was.
Oh, you know what this means, Mike?
What's that?
We're setting up for an exciting finish to this race.
Well, I'm sure, but Larry, with 98 laps to go and knowing what we know about tires, do you see this from here as a one-stop or a two-stop race?
Based on that run right there, I see it as a one-stop race because right now we're under caution, Mike. I think the drivers, we know Kevin Harvick's going to pit. I think maybe Chase Elliott might have to pit here because he has 20 laps on their tires. Remember, he pitted at lap 214.
Okay. Let's take a look at our fastest pit stops today, presented by Xfinity. And this is the last green flag pit stop cycle of the lap and the stop. Jamie McMurray quickest, Ricky Stenhouse, Eric Jones' team once again.
Yeah, and somebody else that you don't see in there is the 41 of Kurt Busch. He actually lost a little bit on that exchange under green flag, and so actually lost a position to Kyle Busch, and will probably cycle out of this in third once these others come to pit road.
Jeff, they hung the air hose on the right front splitter on the 41 car of Kurt Busch. That's what slowed their stop down.
Got 2 drivers in the top 10, I believe, looking for their first top 10 of the year. Jamie McMurray, Ricky Stenhouse. Pit road is open, couple of takers. Here comes Harvick and Elliott. Everybody else stays out, as Larry predicted. Looks like Ryan Newman is also in, as is Ryan Blaney. Jamie?
And Chase Elliott said he was a little bit tighter that run. The track bar was helping him on the exit of 1 and 2, but it's hurting his entry. They made an air pressure adjustment here. It'll be a 4-tire stop. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick says he's better in clean air. He definitely liked it there. Turning pretty good in 1 and 2 is what the driver said. 4-tire stop here, no changes.
Thanks, Jamie. Whoa! Little position battle there. Coming out. Now, we talked about the Kurt Busch pit stop, where he had that issue. Let's show you that.
Everything going along as planned. Look at that hose underneath the nose. Yep. Yeah, as soon as they let it down, got caught on the fender.
Well, we saw a crewman behind the wall try to whip that hose to get it out from underneath the nose. Didn't work, and it got trapped there. Eric Jones is your leader with 97 laps to go in Texas. Okay, a little bad luck, a little good luck for the 4 car, and now I don't know where that horseshoe went, but you'll see as they come around, reaching for the tire. I got it, I got it.
Oh.
And you're now too many men over the wall. And Kevin said, when told about that,
about the time you get back in it, you take yourself right back out of it.
But he's right.
Feel his pain, and he is right.
He's got plenty of time. 95 laps to go. Plenty of time.
He's going to have to drive harder, buddy.
So Harvick will restart back in the 6th row.
Oh,
no, he'll start tail end the longest line. Excuse me.
Can you imagine if I was his crew chief? I said, just going to have to drive harder, buddy. You know, the reaction I'd get from that.
Well, he's going to have to drive some to catch this duo on the front row now. Eric Jones and Kyle Busch as we're back under green.
Oh, Kyle Busch not going to give an inch to his teammate this time.
Nope. That didn't turn out too good for Eric Jones.
That's not over yet. Well, maybe it is.
I think Eric Jones is pretty smart. He's going to give Kyle a little room. They are teammates. He's caught between the Busch brothers right now. He better be on his toes.
So including Bubba Wallace with the free pass, there's now 13 cars on the lead lap. Harvick up to 12th. 11th.
He is going. Kevin Harvick is driving like a man on a mission. He is going, man. He passed him he's left and right.
You told him, DW.
Got to drive harder, boy.
He can't drive any harder than he is right now.
Oh, he's on it, though. He's getting it done.
Now the 6 and 95 are 1 lap down racing for position. Trevor Bayne and Casey Kane.
But you know, Casey gets loose.
And look what it cost him. Goodness gracious.
Well, the problem for Harvick is, yeah, he's gaining ground on the field, but he's 5.4 seconds behind the leaders and losing ground to them.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, going back to what you're saying, DW, but now he's got to get up on the wheels, got to drive a little harder. That's what great teams do. There's times when you make mistakes as a driver, you need your pit crew to step it up and give you that awesome pit stop. And when the pit stops are having issues, pit crews having issues, or pit guns, whatever it may be, then you need to step it up as a driver.
Now, as for the penalty, the fellow trying to reach for the tire falls over the wall. That's too many men over the wall penalty. If he doesn't get to the tire, then it's an uncontrolled tire penalty. That was going to be a penalty either way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Wonder who'll be catching that tire next week.
205 miles an hour into turn 1. Did they still haul the mail? Or is that expression
today
gone by the wayside?
Down here in Texas, they haul
yes,
the mail.
Yes, they are. All right. Now Harvick is 2 seconds behind Ryan Newman, the next car in line for position on the lead lap. Newman in 10th.
He's going to have a little help, obviously, to get up there to our leaders right now. But he's doing what he can do. He's helping his cause. If the caution should come out, he's going to be in good position.
Passes Ty Dillon, who is 17th. Larry, it might be a little early for trends, but I don't imagine we're done with caution flags, you think?
Well, when I look at our last 10 spring Texas races, Mike, the average of the last caution actually pretty well before the finish of the race. Lap 282, which is 52 laps to go. And in those 10 races, we've only had 2 overtimes. That was in 2008 and then 4 years ago back in 2014. So I guess case point, we normally don't get that late race caution here.
But a good chance for one more and then a pretty good long green flag run to the finish.
I've seen a lot of things I've not seen be in any of our trends happen today.
That's true. Martin Truex Jr. out of the race, as was Kyle Larson, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, and Eric Almirola, all with crash damage.
Mike, when you run a 500-mile race, 500 miles anywhere you go is a long race. And the longer you're on the track, the longer the race, the more chances you have for something to go wrong.
And when you get a cooler than expected day to start with, higher speeds, especially higher corner speeds, sometimes strange things happen.
Well, it's a fast racetrack, and you're almost on the razor's edge at this track. I mean, you see how these cars are glued to the bottom. They get just a foot off that white line, they seem to lose some grip. So anything. Oh, we got
trouble turn 4. And it's Casey Kane and Trevor Bayne who were racing for the free pass.
I don't believe either one of them hit anything. I don't know if they got damaged from going through the grass, but they didn't hit anything.
And that's that razor's edge I was talking about. Just not a lot of grip when you're side by side.
Well, Larry's much as said we were going to have one more caution.
That's a big break for the 4-car guys. That's what he needed. Now he's got himself in position to get back in this race big time.
I mean, they were battling hard for that free pass spot. They were racing for 14th, and they are still the only 2 cars 1 lap down.
See what happens here. Bayne's right down on the door of the 95.
Yeah, he gets loose pretty early.
Just couldn't hang.
I mean, he did a great job. I think he would have saved it, but then made contact with the 6 car, and that brought both of them around.
Now we'll wait from the ruling from NASCAR, because with those 2 being the only cars on the lead lap, 1 lap down, whether either of them would receive a free pass. Yeah. Usually the car that brings out the caution is not eligible.
Yeah, which one do
you think it ought to be?
I'm not making that call.
You know, guys, normally with this fresh of a surface, no more laps than we've run, I would tend to believe they may stay out. But I think with the issues that we've seen, and that a lot of these drivers, they have anywhere from 10, 12 up to 15 plus laps on their tires, I think they may come. I think pit road's still closed right now, so this give them a little bit of time to think about it.
Now, I would be surprised, wouldn't you, Larry, that if the 4 ends up coming, because I think he's liking this set of tires. He's fast. That's one of the only ways he's going to make up the track position.
I agree.
Yeah, remember on his tires, they were just a little fresher, but they didn't have that additional heat cycle like the other drivers' his tires did.
So the caution flag is charged to the 95 and the 6. There will be no free pass on this caution. And here's some Kevin Harvick audio.
8 laps are left. We got 85. Plenty of time to win. Depends on how many more times we get a pit.
It's good he can have a sense of humor about that right now.
Sarcasm
point.
is such an art, isn't it?
Well, he's got plenty of it, I can tell you that.
So I guess that means they might want to stay out.
They want to redeem themselves.
Boy, look, when that right front tire, when it comes apart, I want you to look. Look at the damage it does to that race car.
Well, now, you know, that hood is made out of carbon fiber, so it just shreds it into pieces.
It'll literally beat that car apart.
All right, green light on pit road. Will we see any of the leaders pit? They were just in 21 laps ago, and we've run some caution laps since.
I think you're going to see quite a few of them come.
Oh, I think it'll be feeding time on pit road here.
I don't know. Well, how about that? The first 4 stay out.
And Harvick does come down pit road.
Yep. Matt?
Nice recovery by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. after the issues he had. A little bit deeper at the box. The crew guys catch up to the car. This run, like the previous 2, just on the tighter side. The 17. Jamie.
And the 9 of Chase Elliott in. You see the wedge adjustment there. The 22 of Joey Logano. Joey's saying just a little bit tight in the center of 1 and 2. So they'll take 4 tires. 3 sets, actually 2 sets will be left after this round of stops.
82 to go, still a 1 pit stop race.
Guys, I just believe with what I've seen with tires and what I saw with Kevin Harvick, I'd have been on pit road changing 4 Goodyear tires.
'81 laps to go in Monster Energy Series racing from Texas. We're under caution. Eric Jones had a great run today. Who best to talk about the young Toyota racer than Kyle Busch?
I found him racing in the super late model ranks years ago and have kind of put him under my wing, and having him now be a part of our team at Joe Gibbs Racing on the Cup side is going to be really exciting for me. He's just another competitor, though, still a guy that's going to be out there on the racetrack that you want to go out there and beat, and one that's going to be tough to beat as well, too.
Oh, you got to love that. I got your back, Jack, but I'm not going to cut you any slack.
You know what I like? Last year we had dinner with those guys out in Vegas, and Stevie was with my wife, and I said, I like that Eric Jones. He's got a quiet confidence.
And Kyle Busch has quite an eye for talent, too.
Well, let's listen in on Eric Jones radio.
It just looked like the 18 was arcing a little more and then rolling speed entry to center. And I know that's where you said you need to turn a little better to do that, correct? Yeah, I just don't have enough front turn to do that right now. Try, but it hurts me more than it helps me because I never end up making it to the bottom, you know what I mean?
We'll see how it plays out.
It's good information.
Kyle Busch, as on the last restart, has the inside.
It's kind of feedback that the crew chief likes to get from a driver. He might be able to make some sort of an adjustment if he gets a chance.
Behind them, Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer in Fords, then Jamie McMurray, William Byron in Chevrolets. None of the first 6 stopped under that caution. Here we go.
Kurt Busch got pretty loose.
Whoa, man.
Gonna lose some spots, quite a few spots. Here comes Logano also. And look at Jamie McMurray going to 2nd place.
Jamie Mack, what a move.
Really was. He took advantage of those guys at 2 and 3 wide and passed them all.
Boy, Clint Boyer got bottled up in that. He had to brake to keep off of Kurt Busch, and it cost Boyer dearly.
Boy, but William Byron was there, pounced all over him, and William Byron is up there. Look at him go.
And these are all lead lap cars. Boyer 10th, now 11th as Harvick goes by, and Boyer's able to get in line.
Remember, Boyer did not pit on that last time down pit road when those others came down. He did not, so they're kind of eating him up for those newer tires.
But that was more costly from Boyer than it was for Kurt Busch, who was the first car out of shape on the outside. Stenhouse has been in the wall.
Oh, he just got the wall. William Byron got under him in the middle of the 1 and 2 down there. Got Stenhouse out a little wide, and he got in the wall right there.
Ricky looking for his first top 10 of the year. Backs up to 11th.
Just a little kiss. Just a little kiss.
Don't see any tire haze
I don't
there.
know. I don't like the way that right front looks. Rub the letters off of it. See what this looks like. Gets sideways, sideways, sideways. Bam.
Ooh.
I don't like that.
When that top corner at 12 o'clock gets down on that right front.
Don't like it.
That's trouble. Don't see it smoking.
Nope, he stays out.
Maybe a little.
So Kyle Busch out front now, and a new challenger. Jamie McMurray, 1.5 seconds back. Matt.
Mike, the decision to pit or not pit by McMurray's team actually came down to counting cars. They wanted to be on the inside, so they figured out how many were going to pit, who were going to stay out. They wanted that inside, and that's why they stayed out.
Boy, that was the place to be on that restart.
You got to be quick to do that.
Yeah.
The spotter's doing a heck of a job if he can figure that out.
Harvick moves up to 8th, passing Ryan Blaney.
I don't see how any air is getting into the nose of Ryan Blaney's car with that patch job.
Well, right now, Joey Logano in 4th and Chase Elliott in 5th are the first cars with new tires at lap 252. We'll keep it right here for you and go side by side on FS1 with 73 laps to go. 68 laps to go going into this race. We expected Kyle Busch would be a contender for the win. He's not disappointed. He's led 63 laps, had a pretty flawless day. But one of the pleasant surprises is this man, Jamie McMurray, currently in 2nd, 2.6 back, as Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch there for 6th place, Harvick up to 6th. But 2 weeks ago, we saw one of the longest winless droughts snapped. Here are the longest spells that have been broken all time. Bill Elliott back to victory lane after that's Chase. After 226 races. Martin Truex went 218 between wins. Clint Boyer 190. Jamie McMurray 154 since his last victory at Talladega. He's 4th on that list.
The team said it, and I agree with 100%. He raced here yesterday, and he doesn't race the Xfinity Series very often. Maybe they need to think about running him a little bit more in that Xfinity Series because it's paying off today.
Agree.
Yeah, that's a great point, DW.
5th place.
Well, he's been
something to prove right here.
Harvick's on a mission.
Yes, he is.
He's been on a mission ever since dropped the green flag. Sometimes he gets sidetracked, but he fights his way back every time.
Sense a little extra fire inside the belly of Kevin Harvick right now. Oh, he's going to get a big run on the 9th.
Oh, yeah. Look
Chase
at
Elliott.
Look at that thing come on.
That 4 car gets off of turn 2 so good.
You never know how good that 4 car is or how good Kevin Harvick is till he gets in a hole like this, and he's got to dig himself out. And he goes hard, man.
And you heard right there, he's back to the throttle sooner in the corner than he was at any time during that last run.
Yep, I agree.
You know, we did once have losing streaks of over 100 races broken in consecutive races. 2012, Joey Logano at Pocono, Dale Jr. at Michigan, back to back.
That last time by, Kevin Harvick matched our leader, Kyle Busch's lap time, and he's passing cars.
And the lap before that, he was 0.2 quicker than the race leader. So now Chase Elliott tries to track down Kurt Busch for 6th place.
That was unreal right there. Settle in here. Let's keep Kurt behind us. He's on older tire.
That Eddie DeHaan is no fun.
Well, I think what that comment was about how the 4 and the 41 just blew by him like it was nothing. Here's 4th place, Kevin Harvick. Man, he is just
picking them up, putting them down.
Yes, he is.
He's got a long way to get to the leader, but if anything should happen, he is right there. And that's what I love about this team. I've seen it in this team since they've been together, really. They never give up. They just keep digging, keep working. They don't get excited. They get it done.
And that's the thing. They never get too agitated about it. You know, Kevin will get a little snarky on the radio from time to time, and then Rodney just very calm and collected, and they get back to work.
Rodney can take the sarcasm.
Yeah.
He can better than anybody I know of.
Well, you can take it when you have a fast race car and you're a good team and you've already won races this year.
Right.
Those are ingredients that make things nicer, yeah.
Especially since you've already won the most races this year.
Yeah, I can tell you who wouldn't take it if he didn't win this race today or finish the 2nd.
You talking about that green car leading the race?
It's been all quiet on the 18 front as far as the in-car radio is concerned. Just spotter chatter as Kyle Busch holds a 3.3 second lead. Black flag for David Reagan. Not sure what that's about, but let's go to the leaders pit and Vince.
Well, the one issue that the 18 of Kyle Busch has had, and really the only issue since he's gone back up front, is just dealing with the lap traffic. His spotter, Tony Hirschman, working with the other spotters as Kyle comes upon the cars. That's been the only reaction from Kyle, is just a little bit of frustration with not getting quite as much clearance as he'd like as he passes some of those lappers.
I think we just think about, we talked about how he hates to run second. He's got a car that can win this race today. We know that. If Kevin Harvick doesn't catch him.
Yeah,
that could be the spoiler in this whole thing.
And Harvick is now up to third. He blasted past Eric Jones on a lap that was 0.7 quicker than Jones.
I just can't get past how difficult it was for Kevin Harvick when he was further back in traffic to pass some cars earlier in the race. He couldn't get by Bubba Wallace, right, when he was trying to get back on the lead lap.
Right.
And now it just looks easy on these top 5 cars. They have whatever they have done, or this set of tires, whatever Kevin is doing. My goodness, this car is fast.
Watch, he's closing up on the back of McMurray, and watch how quickly he goes by McMurray. Here he is into turn 1. This has been his bread and butter one right here. He really gets off at 2 like nobody.
Yeah, and don't forget,
some of that is 20-lap fresher tires than Jamie Mack.
Yeah, I probably didn't give enough credit to 20 laps. Being that much fresher tires. A lot of that's air pressure. When you build the air pressure up in these tires, it's not that they're wearing out. Yeah, we've seen some issues with the shoulder, but it's that air pressure that builds up that sort of loses the grip in the tire.
Well, here's the difference. I watch the timing and scoring all the time. Right now, last time by, Kyle Busch ran a 28.53. Kevin Harvick ran a 28.29. So he's a couple of tenths quicker than Kyle Busch, our leader.
Larry, we know it's a one-stop race if we stay green, but how deep into this run do you want to go before you come and get tires?
Yeah, I have been crunching numbers for about the last 20 laps. Right here, 55 to go. Kyle Busch is going to have to pit somewhere around 45 to 50 to go. Kevin Harvick, though, they should be able to go to around 20 to 30 to go. This late in the race, I would run it out as far as possible. So they both have to come to pit road, but there's quite a difference in when they do have to come, Mike.
Okay. Well, Harvick is now up to second.
And closing.
Fast.
By about half a second a lap. You'll see it all as we go side by side on FS1 with 54 laps to go in the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500. We expect Kyle Busch on pit road, possibly within the next 5 laps. There are 49 laps to go. That would give him 44 to 45 laps on a final set of tires. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick has 20-lap better fresher tires than Kyle Busch. They have to make one more stop, and after what's happened to Harvick on pit road today, one more in the offing. A lug nut gets caught in the jack, so it does not retract. And then this, a tire gets rolled over to the wall. Somebody has to catch it, and oops, down he goes.
That's not funny.
Well, it would have been an uncontrolled tire otherwise. Jamie.
It has been a roller coaster of emotions for this Ford team, and I'll tell you, the attitude has changed. Everybody's smiling down here. Cheddar Smith is the car chief. Cheddar, how have you guys just gotten through everything and rebounded to be in the situation you're in?
Well, we got a really awesome team. Everybody on the Busch Ford team has never given up. We had a lot of adversity on pit road and a few things that we need to clean up on our end, but some of it was really unique that we didn't really plan on and was out of our control. So everybody knew we had a fast car. Kevin's amazing. So we're just going to keep fighting here to the end and see what we can get.
Said their driver's driving with fire in his belly right now, Mike.
All right, 46 laps to go, Jamie. And Harvick is closing on Kyle Busch. It's the gap is down to 2 seconds.
All right, guys, so we know we got one more stop coming, possibly under green for both of these two. Who do you got now? Now you take everything that's going on today. Which one do you like out of the 4 of the 18?
I like the 4, definitely the 4.
I just think the one, I think the 4 is a little bit faster, but I think coming down pit road, will they have another issue on the next stop, or will it fall into the 18 as to being a little bit more consistent so far today on pit road? As the 20s on pit road.
Yeah,
Harvick's going to end up with the best tires.
We're in that 5-lap window that Larry talked about, and so here is Eric Jones. coming in for his hope-to-be final stop, Vince.
Eric's led 64 laps today, and for a while it looked like maybe he was going to have the car to beat, but once he lost that lead, the car just didn't act the same in clean air, and he particularly needs a little help rolling down the hill in 1 and 2 to get back on the throttle, so they'll make a little adjustment for him. Hope they give him something and maybe catch a break to the finish for his first win. Matt?
The one, Jimmy McMurray in, he hit pit road from the 3rd position. Stellar day for McMurray, actually first lead lap finish since last fall. Solid on the right side. Kincaid getting the wheel off, indexing it. Appleby, Houston hits the lugs in the front, and he's away. Jamie?
Kurt Busch led 39 laps today. He is in for service. So is your leader, Kyle Busch, in the Ford. Kevin Harvick coming down pit road as well. Vince?
Well, the 18 of Kyle Busch hits his box, and Kevin Harvick goes by. Now it's up to the pit crews. Who's going to have the better stop could determine who's going to win this race. Just a little bit of help on exit for Kyle. Jamie?
You just heard Cheddar Smith, the car chief, talking about cleaning up some things on their end. Let's see. They are under pressure. Here could be the final stop for the Ford team as they work on the left side. The 18 is finished, and he's making his way down pit road. The Ford keeps his eye on him. Seems like it was a good stop, guys.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick could run about 20 more laps, but I just think he and Rodney Childers said, you know what, we got a little better car than Kyle Busch. Let's go heads up against him. Let's don't let this whole tire variable play into it.
Larry, I don't know. Well, might be an issue.
Going to have a look at whether a tire got away from the Ford team as they made their stop on the right side of the car, out of Jamie's view. And NASCAR is reviewing the stop on Kevin Harvick.
Well, they did catch it. I mean, the tire did roll out a little bit, and he did retrieve the tire. I don't know how NASCAR is going to determine that. Watch right here. There's the tire.
Oh,
he sees it.
That's definitely a questionable call.
But it's borderline. I'd say that's borderline.
I'd call it like a ball and a strike. No question. Ball and strike call.
Chase Elliott has picked up the lead here over Ricky Stenhouse, Ryan Newman, Bubba Wallace, and Kyle Busch, now a lap down to those Ford drivers who stopped at lap 252 and are still on track. As Larry said, they can go another 20 or so laps before making a stop and hope for a caution, pin some really good cars, some other really good cars a lap down perhaps. But Chase is in. That will leave Stenhouse, Newman, and Bubba. So Ricky Stenhouse,
I think they're good.
Is the leader. Jamie?
Fist pumping smiles all around for the Ford. They did not get a penalty there. Meanwhile, the 9 of Chase Elliott is in. He said, man, I'm trying, but the nose of this car just feels lazy. He's done a nice job today.
And that's kind of a balance issue. When the front's not doing what you want it to, you just don't have enough grip in the front. It's just a balance issue.
So let's explain what happens. The NASCAR's Hawkeye system is an unmanned system that makes a call down to the official's trailer that says there was something not right about that stop. It is reviewed by an official in the trailer and a supervisor, and if they believe it's a possibility of a penalty, they send it upstairs for judgment by the senior NASCAR officials calling the race. They make the call whether a penalty is assessed or not, and in that case there was no call on the number 4.
I like it when you err on the side of the team. You know, I think that you have to give them a benefit of the doubt, and I like that call.
Goes to the runner.
Somewhat.
Well, I don't know if it's going to matter. I mean, I know right now we got Stenhouse Jr.'s leading this race. Newman's in second. Wallace is in third. But Kyle Busch is putting down some great laps right now. I think it comes down to, if we stay green, will his car fade? And we've seen where Kevin Harvick has come on strong right in those final laps.
What made it a little bit skewed on our last go round, remember Harvick had better tires.
Right.
And if I'd have been Harvick, I think I'd have stayed out a little bit longer. So I would have had the better tires at the end, but he elected to come in with Kyle Busch, so we'll see how that works out.
And they're now both back on the lead lap with Stenhouse the leader, Newman 2 seconds back, Bubba Wallace, then Kyle Busch and Harvick, the only cars on the lead lap at this moment.
But Mike, right now Kyle Busch running down in the 27s, in the 27-80 bracket. Haven't seen that all day. I haven't seen that all lately, I should say.
Yeah, I think you just got to be a little bit careful if you're Kyle Busch running those kinds of lap times. You really build up that right front. If you build that right front up too much, it's going to start pushing.
Guys, just keep a watch on there. 34 to go. Stenhouse, Newman, Bubba Wallace Jr., those three drivers, they probably can go somewhere around 20 to 25 to go. And if I was those three crew chiefs, I'd go to the bitter end. Maybe you get that caution and trap a lot of these drivers a lap down.
Well, this is a situation tailor-made for Newman of doing the contrary and hoping to stay out and catch that caution. Doing something different, like not stopping at Phoenix, where he picked up that most recent win. Sure.
That'd be successful for them.
Look, you go with what you got. You got the hand that's been dealt to you. You go with that.
Right. That's their best and maybe only chance to win this race.
I agree.
So play it. Boy, there was a bit of contact between William Byron and Cole Witt.
I'll say. It's got real ugly right here coming off turn 4.
Boy, Cole doesn't give him a whole lot of room.
Doesn't give him any room.
William Byron tries to squeeze into that little gap.
Yep.
That's one of those deals where I think Cole said, I didn't even know you were there. At least that's what he'd say.
So now you have Stenhouse, who has 50 laps on this set of tires. Some of those were caution laps. But still, how long do you stay out? If you're Stenhouse or Newman or Wallace.
No, I think it's just like what Larry said. You stay out until you have to come in for fuel or hope that the caution comes out.
Yeah, and the two cars you got to beat, you're not going to beat them, the 18 and the 4. But look at all the other cars you could finish ahead of.
Big hit by the 31. Ryan Newman blows a right front tire right here on the front straightaway. Big hit.
Wow.
Jamie?
2 seconds, and I'm not kidding, 2 seconds. Ryan Newman had just come on the radio and said, I need 4 tires and I need them now, and he went straight in the wall.
Well, as you said, you run that out right as far as you can, hoping for a caution and hoping it's not you.
Boom. That's the inside of that right front, it looked to me like. And what you feel a chunk of the tire or the cords or something snap. That's why he knew it. He felt some sort of vibration. Something changed instantly in the feel in that steering wheel. Boy, that's a heavy impact.
And Mike and Jeff, it's funny how it's going, everything's good, it feels fine, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's gone.
Well, it's horrible news for Newman, and it's equally bad news for Stenhouse and Wallace, because this is going to bring them right back to the other cars that will now be on the lead lap. Kyle Busch, Harvick, and McMurray 1 lap down. 200 miles an hour into the wall.
Both those,
Turn 1.
even that first hit was hard. That second one was still pretty hard licks.
So the pits will be open for the 4 lead lap cars. McMurray will get the free pass, and everybody else who is stuck 1 lap down is going to have to decide to pit and be 1 lap down or take the wave around on the tires that they got back at lap 291.
Yeah, we know Stenhouse and Bubba Wallace is going to pit. It looks like to me that Kyle Busch in the 18 and Kevin Harvick in the 4, they're going to stay out. Chase Elliott's pitting. Those other drivers, Mike, they have to take the wave around. They don't have a choice.
Well, we got 30 laps to go, so we don't have all that far to go.
But Larry, I believe Chase Elliott's not eligible to pit. Isn't he a lap down? Or is he now? Well, we'll double check here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he was on the lead lap.
Well, he thinks he is, or he wouldn't be in the pits.
Yeah. But see, I look at this as that's exactly what these guys wanted, because they wanted to, the leaders, the leaders that are out there now that had come in earlier, have about 10, 15 laps, more laps on their tires. They want them to stay out, caution come out, so they can come get 4 fresh tires, and that might give them a slight advantage of grip when we go back green.
I agree, and I tell you, you got to talk about Bubba Wallace and Stenhouse both, but Bubba Wallace is running 4th. What a great day for that guy. What a great day for that team. That's a great day for Richard Petty Motorsports.
Now, at the time of caution, I was showing 5 cars on the lead lap, including Ryan Newman, who hit the wall hard and will in all likelihood not be able to continue. So we'll double check on that, and then we'll see the lap down cars pit this time around.
And Stenhouse in a backup car. I mean, these two guys have just been so good, so good. And if we keep going a little bit longer, it'll be a sunny day.
So Chase Elliott did pit too soon. He was a lap down.
He was a lap down.
So he'll get readjusted in the order. And how about Ricky Stenhouse? He has such a positive attitude. He's gone to backup cars 3 times this year. At least 2 of those were for mechanical problems with the car, but he still has a great attitude. It's like, I'm going to hop in another one and go as fast as I can and get the job done. And here he is.
I heard Brian Patty say these are new cars. I don't know what they did. They had an off week. They've had a few weeks to work on these cars, and maybe they got them like the Stewart-Haas cars are. But he said these are new cars, and it's running like a new car today.
Sure is.
Well, one thing you can be assured of with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., it doesn't matter if he blows the right front tire, spins out, whatever it is, he goes right back 100%.
That's right.
As soon as he gets back out there.
Coming up next, the NHRA is in Las Vegas for their first 4-wide nationals.
Just 3 stops into the 2018 NHRA season. Already 5 funny car bodies have been reduced to individual pieces too numerous to count. Well, this weekend in Sin City, the NHRA numbers get even more gaudy. Gone are the original 2 lanes at the strip. In their place, 4 lanes of concrete and asphalt. Their job contained 40,000 horses. The 4-wide nationals coming at you next on FS1.
And that'll be live from Las Vegas, live here at Texas Motor Speedway with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers. Quick recap, if you tuned in a little bit later here, defending champ Martin Truex Jr., a tire issue coming out of turn 4. He was running second on lap 81 out of the race.
Wide open at over 170 miles an hour, Chris. That tire lets go. The same deal at the end of the front straightaway, nearly 200 for Kyle Larson. Just look at that impact.
And Larson was second in this race last year. Kevin Harvick, who's won the most races this year, and said he was the best on 1.5-mile pit road problems here. Then they had to go back, went a lap down. Then they later had a tire that was kind of left out that was not called as an uncontrolled tire.
And they were very fortunate. And then a big crash here. Denny Hamlin with a shallow entry into the turn, gets loose and into the cars beside him, causes a big wreck. Jimmy Johnson, a fast, low Chevy, is taken out in that crash as well.
Yeah, 1 of 7 cars, including Brad Keselowski, who has yet to win here at Texas Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch, a 2-time winner here, on his way, maybe his first win of this season overall. He's had a number of second-place finishes. But Kevin Harvick, from where he's been as far back as 22nd, we mentioned a lap down, has worked his way right up in the picture.
Yeah, and he's got the fastest car. It's going to be interesting head-to-head with Kyle Busch. They're starting right on the front row. Who's able to pull away? What's going to happen on this restart? The outside line's been so vulnerable today. I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out.
And then the unlikely, at least that you would think would be at this point of the race, or at least in the top 5, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Bubba Wallace.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., crew chief Brian Patty, he's a gambler, and they took a chance there, and that chance paid off. He was into the wall just 20-30 laps ago, Chris, and now he finds himself right in contention. Bubba Wallace, this is an amazing run for this team. It's the fastest they've been anywhere other than Daytona and Talladega all year for sure, and Bubba is doing an amazing job. He held off Kevin Harvick for 30 or 40 laps early in the race, fighting for the lucky dog position. He's done amazing.
Yeah, over this scheduled for 500-mile race, a lot of wear and tear, some 17, 18 cars involved in mishaps, incidents, accidents.
As Darrell called it earlier, attrition is going to be huge today, and it's been just that. And when attrition is huge, it gives guys that don't have the funding, maybe the team to run up front, a chance to do just that. Into the top 20, Matt DiBenedetto. That's a great run for that team. He's a people's driver. We talk about him all the time, and he's getting it done today.
A man of the people. Darrell, you can spell huge. That's H-U-G-E. Back upstairs to you.
Spell check. I got to get spell check.
Now, that's true. But now, one thing we've not seen in quite a while in this race is Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, heads up, both on equal tires.
But didn't they work together on one of these starts earlier in the day? That's gone. That's gone. Right. I'll be shocked if Kyle Busch doesn't take the inside on this one. Try to put Kevin Harvick on that outside. Maybe he'll lose a couple positions in that outside lane. That caution did hurt the 18 because he had a nice gap. The car was really making some fast lap times. I didn't see Harvick really gaining on him that much.
See, that's what the 18 is the fastest car. When they were on equal tires, pretty equal tires, the 18 was a little bit quicker than the 4. So if things play out like it should, this might be a day when Kyle Busch will be happy.
Well, there's a couple outliers in the mix. Here's Matt.
big picture decisions in the offseason, moving to the RCR campus. You guys were racing and still trying to unpack things at the shop. Is this really the culmination of all that hard work?
It is. The last weekend was great for us to be able to kind of regroup, and we've been better than what our finishes have shown. You know, we've all made mistakes coming together. You know, we put it together so late, and I think we're only going to continue to get better. And we're not a great car right now, but we're a good car. And with good cars, with a little luck and some strategy, and Bubba doing a great job, the click and close cars got a position. If we can hold off for 25 laps with a great restart, who knows?
Good luck, Mike.
All right, a number of cars took the wave around, but right next to Bubba Wallace, here's some audio from Ricky Stenhouse.
Felt like something just locked up on the front end. We got a wheel bearing left front. It's, I don't know, my brakes.
Bias at 3F?
Yes.
Brake valve?
All the way forward. I'm telling you, I don't have any brakes.
Guys, just remember how hard he hit the wall not too many laps ago up off turn 2. That could be contributing to what he's feeling and going on there.
Yeah, if the heat builds up in that bearing, that wheel bearing goes out, that could cause that fluid to boil, which usually the first sign of a wheel bearing or something like that failing is your brakes.
Yeah, he seemed to think, listen to his radio, he seemed to think of something in the left front, which a little bit different than what we would have thought because he had damage to the right side, but that left front wheel takes a beating, man, on a track like this.
Well, the interesting starting positions on this restart are 3, 4, and 5. Stenhouse, Wallace, and McMurray, because the 17, the 43, and the 1 have the freshest tires. The rest of the cars behind them had to take the wave around from Kurt Busch, Eric Jones on back. Their tires are worn just as much as Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick's and have 14 or 15 more laps on them than those 3 drivers with fresh tires.
Just saw something fly up there in the front of the field.
Yeah, a little debris I saw.
Got some debris maybe they got to pick up.
Well, next week, Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway, and good seats are available for Bristol, or catch it right here on FS1, 1:30 Eastern Time.
Well, as I anticipated, I thought Kyle Busch, the best choice was to take that inside lane. He did take that inside lane. Now we're going to see a little 4 wide here in Texas. We saw.
How about Bruton Smith? He built that 4 wide dragway in Charlotte, and then they just ground up all that concrete and completely redid the strip in Las Vegas. Not the one where the casinos are, the 4 wide strip where the NHRA is, and you will see them next. Right after we get a little maybe 4 wide here.
I wouldn't be surprised
in Texas.
Get around to the back straightaway. I have seen it happen here before.
Are you at all worried?
It doesn't end very well.
Are you at all worried if you're starting on the front row and 3 hungry drivers behind you have much better tires?
Right now, if I'm Kyle Busch, I'm a little more worried about Kevin Harvick, but those new tires might be enough for those others.
Boy. One thing Kyle Busch was ready. He was ready for that restart. He jumped out there real quick.
Oh, Eric Jones way down to the bottom, but he gets back in line.
He made it.
Yikes.
Now see, that also, by taking off a little bit early like that for Kevin Harvick, or for Kyle Busch, it actually also helped Kevin Harvick get right in and tuck in behind him.
These two are going to fight. This is going to be a battle between these two because the cars are they're pretty darn close to equal.
And boy, they got a great restart ahead of those cars with new tires.
It seemed like that Harvick was a little bit better off of turn 2 earlier. We'll see if that prevails this time.
Logano gets underneath Kurt Busch after a little bit of shot. Busch did a crossover move on him. And going to third, Bubba Wallace on Jamie McMurray.
Stenhouse with his problems, he's up out of the way. He said he had no brakes, so I think he's just trying to get to the back of the field.
Yeah, nurse at home.
Eric Jones moving on Bubba Wallace. 4th place. Ryan Blaney up to the top 5. So now the one driver with new tires up at the front is McMurray in 3rd, and he's 2 seconds back of this pair.
Yeah, these two here. This is going to, I tell you, this is going to be a battle between this 4 and this 18 because they are so equally matched, Mike. It'd take a mistake by the 18 for him to lose this race.
Yeah, and we already talked about this, documented this earlier, about how Kyle Busch will carry a lot of speed into the corner, but Kevin Harvick carries a lot of speed off the corner. I think Kyle Busch is going to have to be very disciplined.
Ooh, William Byron trying to make the move, but Bubba Wallace came down and covered that spot after losing a position to Kurt Busch.
Yeah, they're battling hard back in here for those, top 10 positions, which is big for a bunch of these guys.
11 cars on the lead lap to finish this one off with 19 to go.
See, I think if Kyle Busch can just be real patient getting back to the throttle in the middle of the corner, especially through 1 and 2, I think he'll make life really, really tough for the 4, Kevin Harvick.
What do you think, Vince?
Jeff, exactly what you're talking about. One of the areas where Harvick has been better than Kyle is just rolling the corner, rolling the center, and they've certainly been aware of that. Tony Hirschman, the spotter for Kyle Busch, talking to him about where Harvick might be better, where Kyle may be better. Certainly a game of cat and mouse right now. Who happens to be the best in the biggest place could be the difference.
Here's Stenhouse coming to pit road.
What a shame.
Trying to cure that car after being in a position to have a top 5 day.
You can tell he was having to pump the brakes quite a few times to get that car to slow down. So he has brakes. He just doesn't have. He has a real long pedal. And we saw Kevin Harvick trying to pressure the 18 of Kyle Busch. Kyle's doing an excellent job. We saw the 4 lose the nose and get wide through the middle 1 and 2.
And Harvick gained about 8 feet coming off that corner. That's all.
I think what happened to Harvick is that he's trying really, really hard. Obviously, he wants to get up there and try to get around Kyle Busch. I think he just overdrove turn 1, which is turn 1 and 2, and it's really easy to do. When you do, you get up out of the groove, you lose a lot of time.
And I just think of motivation right now. I think which one of these guys has more motivation? I mean, the 4 cars had so many issues today, but that 18 of Kyle Busch and that team have been so close this year and haven't gotten that win, but today could be the day.
Not just Kyle, but also Joe Gibbs Racing looking for their first victory of 2018. Kevin Harvick looking for his 4th win. Jamie McMurray trying to break a long winless streak now, 3.8 seconds back. And right in his tire tracks, Eric Jones, who looks to come out of here with a great top 5 finish.
Great job by Eric today. Thought he had a car that could win early.
Ryan Blaney with a banged up car in 5th place. And his Penske teammate, Joey Logano, right behind.
Yeah, he's done a great job. We haven't talked much about Logano all day. He's been the top 10 most all day. Right behind him is a guy that might be a little bit quicker, that 41 car of Kurt Busch. Looks like he's closing down on the back of the 22.
Yeah, our pole sitter. Now, Bubba Wallace did not get a good restart. Took a while for that car to come up to speed on this last restart. He's now 8 seconds back in 8th.
Yeah, if he comes out of here with an 8th place or top 10, I think that will be huge for them. Big momentum.
And William Byron, after starting in the back due to an engine change, is going to have a top 10 day. Clint Bowyer also still on the lead lap. He's 10th, 9 seconds back.
Yeah, Bowyer, he hasn't had a great day, but he's got to get a top 10 most likely out of this. So that's not all bad after coming off a win last week or 2 weeks ago.
Now Chase Elliott, who had to restart at the back after pitting too soon, he's the first car 1 lap down ahead of Trevor Bayne. Everyone else is 2 or more laps down.
And just watch these 2 leaders. You watch our miles per hour and you watch the timing and scoring over here. They're within a 1/10 of each other. One will be a 1/10 quicker 1 lap, one will be a 1/10 quicker the other lap. They're so equally matched.
I wouldn't be surprised, DW, if a pass happens, if it happens within the last few laps. And I say that because each lap I see the 18 losing the nose just a little bit more in the middle of the corner, building that right front tire up.
And what do we call Harvick?
The closer.
And what did he do here last year? He passed Martin Truex with 10 to go.
He did. Well, guess what? He's going to be right on the back bumper of that 18. He better not miss his marks.
Well, it's not going to be 10 to go, but it might be 4 or 5 to go.
Might not be long.
You can see the gap between the left side of Kyle Busch's car and that white line. He's not maintaining that white line as long as Kevin Harvick does. And as Kevin Harvick closes on him, that just allows a little bit of extra air to get to that left front fender for Kevin Harvick and even allow him to get a little bit closer and get that run off of turn 2.
I know that I think they're pretty equal in turns 1 and 2 off 2, but I really think Harvick is better in 3 and 4. He is sailing that thing through 3 and 4.
A.J. Allmendinger came to the pit. They lifted the hood, and he's going to be done for the day. with 9 laps to go.
Watch when he get down here to turn 3 and 4. Now he's got the 00 a little bit in the way of the 18, but watch how that 4 car comes flying through this corner. I mean, he is sailing that thing around there.
You know what you're going to hear next on that radio? Here, kitty, kitty.
Well, he's only got 8 laps to do it. He better be doing it quick. Does this make you nervous, Mike? With these closing laps always makes me so nervous.
And I'll tell you, Kyle Busch has done nothing wrong today. He's had a great car. He's made great pit stops. He's got the car out front with the nose in the wind. And he's got to hang on for 7 laps to notch his and his whole team's first win of the season.
Yeah, and when this race is over, you know what Kevin Harvick's going to do? Well, if we hadn't had this problem, if we hadn't had that problem, we hadn't had this problem, that problem, we could have won this race. Man,
you could hurt Kevin Harvick. He rushed that throttle just a little bit, lost the nose right there.
And you got to know Kyle Busch is looking in that mirror saying, "Dadgum, he's getting closer every lap."
Now let's watch Kyle Busch. See how he just comes off the bottom a little bit sooner than Kevin Harvick.
But you know, Jeff, if you don't rush that throttle, you don't catch it.
Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard when you're chasing. All you want to do is look at their weaknesses and just gain on them ever so slightly. Catching them's one thing, passing them's going to be another.
Oh, he's going to catch him. I just don't know how you can get around him without roughing him up a little bit.
5 to go, and Harvick was a 10th faster that lap. Here's Kyle's radio.
He's backing up his entry to 1 to try to get his gas, try to power through the wake. Still by 5.
One thing you certainly won't hear from him, that's Kyle Busch. He's not going to say a word. He is focused, hands on the wheel, feeling every bit of what that car is capable of doing.
Twice a Texas race has been decided by a last lap pass.
But you know what, Mike? If you're Kyle Busch, you're going to feel really good about yourself if you can hold Kevin Harvick off to win this race. I mean, this is a cat that's been the best car all year so far.
Now, see, Kyle Busch, he slowed down the middle of the corner just a little bit more and 1 and 2 that time, and we didn't see the 4 gain as much. We saw the 4 gain just a tiny bit right here through turns 3 and 4.
72 car, Cowitt. We'll see if he gets out of the way and gives him clear track.
Yeah, he's going to move up the racetrack. That should
pretty
help.
much. Didn't hurt anything.
Might actually hurt Harvick a little. Yeah, hurts Harvick just a tiny bit. Not able to go all the way out to the wall and carry that momentum.
And just for the record, that 72 car is not necessarily a he's running 19th. Cowitt in the 72 car.
Almost close enough to reach out and touch, but not quite. Nope.
One says this race is a little bit too long. The other one says this race isn't quite long enough.
You could hear it in Kyle Busch's voice in the pre-race. This was going to be his day. He's in his sponsor's backyard. He's at a track where he runs well. And he wants to be the man to give Joe Gibbs their first win of the season.
Well, he's getting mighty, mighty close.
The white flag waves. 1 to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Well, we've been talking about wanting to see somebody go head-to-head with Kevin Harvick. We've got it right here with Kyle Busch.
Four straight finishes of second or third, everything but a W today. Kyle Busch wins in Texas for Joe Gibbs and Toyota. Kevin Harvick 0.3 of a second back.
Samantha, his wife, she's pretty happy.
Did it, man. Never give up. That's why we do it. Congratulations, team. Great job.
I don't care how many times you win. When you go into a season and you haven't gotten that win, you've been so close, it weighs on you.
Congratulations, Interstate Batteries, Norm Miller. See you in a couple minutes there, Hot Rod.
Norm Miller, he's the president of Interstate Battery. What a great guy. He's been with this team forever. Coach Gibbs.
Ever since Bobby Labonte drove this car and won in it here.
And he's such a great guy.
Yep. 44th career win for Kyle Busch. Last win was Martinsville in October. And Kyle Busch taking home the checkered flag is today's Sunoco fueling victory. Third Texas win and his 25th start here. And he becomes the 5th different driver to win in 2018. One of many drivers that have their signature move after winning a race. And Kyle's is to salute the crowd. Get that flag first. You know, we talked about Richard Petty, David Pearson, 63 times. They finished 1-2. Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick have finished 1-2 8 times now.
Wow.
3 times this year. And here's Kyle going to take a bow and salute the crowd.
I hear a lot of cheers. I hear a few
Yeah, they got to appreciate a guy that can, you know, that he worked hard for that win.
He definitely earned it.
One of 8 drivers to win for Joe Gibbs Racing. They score their 7th victory at Texas among 4 drivers. Here's Jamie with the runner-up.
What a performance by Kevin Harvick today. Roller coaster of emotions. You guys were so dominant. Then the issues on pit road. How do you put all that aside, Kevin, and drive the way that you did to come back and finish 2nd?
Well, we're just fortunate that our Busch Light Ford was as fast as it was to cover up what was just an absolutely pathetic 2 days on pit road. So, you know, we just had a really fast car, and Kyle's car was just fast enough to where I needed to go the whole run to be able to make up the ground that I needed to. We just didn't turn as well in traffic there. We just got to thank everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing and everybody on my team for putting together just a great car.
Led 87 laps today, brings it home 2nd.
Boy, and what a rivalry in the making between Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. 8 1-2 finishes between them, 3 this year. We've not seen the last of this.
You throw 78, the 78 of Mark Truex Jr. in there, we're going to have a 3-way rivalry.
That's right.
The common denominator is
Kyle Busch. Here's Matt.
A 2nd place finish at Daytona in the 500 for Bubba Wallace, but today an 8th place finish here at Texas. Is this the type of step that this program needs to build?
Absolutely. Hell yeah, we needed that. That was a good week off for us to regroup. Guys did a hell of a job all weekend long. I thought we had pretty decent speed, and a lot of people in the garage were like, your car's pretty good, so just don't mess it up. And I had a couple opportunities there, especially the first stop coming down, but man, our Click and Close Chevrolet was pretty decent all day for us, and Drew did a great job doing some pit strategy on that last call to get us out there to 4th. And I don't know if we were on the splitter that last run, but she just went and turned going down in the corners and gave up a couple spots, but beat myself up over that one. But still, walking away with my first top 10 in the Cup Series is pretty good. Really good day for us. You know, we had some prospects up on the box, so I think that went a long way as well. But man, what a good day. What a good day. What a good weekend for us. Had the mojo the whole time, and just super excited. So thanks to Coca-Cola, NASCAR, Click and Close, Maui Jim, everybody involved in our program, STP, Air Force. You know, we do so much for this small team, and these little runs, these big runs are going a long way for us.
Continue to build this program, not only in performance, Chris, but also in the sponsorship department.
Thank you, Matt and Bubba. And so the guy who's been in the last 3 championship Final 4 of NASCAR, Kyle Busch, back in the playoffs again with his first victory of 2018, celebrating in Texas. And Vince Welch is down there for the celebration.
Runner-up, no more. After 3 second-place finishes, he finally puts it in victory lane, and man, you had to earn it. What's going through your mind there when you got to hold off Harvick and he's charging and you know it?
Yeah, they were probably just a tick faster overall, but I just had to make sure to do everything I could to hit all my marks and everything, to focus on making sure that I did the right things to block his air a little bit, you know. But this Interstate Batteries Camry was really awesome today, so really want to thank Interstate. It's their hometown. Norm Miller's here, so this one means a lot more to win here in Texas, right here in the hometown of the Interstate Batteries guys. And can't say enough about M&M's, everybody from them, NOS Energy Drink, Cessna, DVX Eyewear, and Black Clover, and of course the fans. You know, this has been a trying couple of months, I guess. You know, after Daytona, we've just been on a roll of finishing really good, and been really pumped and excited about that and the momentum we were able to carry. But frustrated at the same time trying to get the victory lane.
You knew it was just a matter of time until you got the win, but how good does it finally feel to be here today?
I mean, it feels awesome. I mean, just anytime you can win at a track that kind of isn't maybe one of your favorites or isn't one of your best, then it definitely means even more, you know, because it just, you try to focus on those tracks and make it a little bit more meaningful and a little bit more special to get it done. So, so cool, though, to be in victory lane here finally this year and, you know, punch our ticket into the playoffs and, of course, you know, also just continue our hot streak of being the points leader right now and keeping these guys focused on what we need to do all year long.
Well done. Kyle Busch wins at Texas for the third time. Jamie?
From the mentor to the protege, Erik Jones finishes 4th today. Your best finish this year, but most importantly, your best finish since joining Joe Gibbs Racing. Do you feel like you guys turned a corner here today?
Well, I think so. You know, we've been kind of inching there each week, getting closer and closer. Martinsville's kind of its own animal, but each week in the 1.5 mile and 2 miles, we've been getting better. So to get the Reese's Camry up front and just in the top 5 was a big moment for us. It's something I've been wanting to do here with this group, and you know, we did a good job of it this weekend. So Texas is a place I like. I got to say thanks to the pit crew. They worked really hard. We've had a rough start to the year on pit road, but they knocked them out. We picked up a lot of spots on pit road today, and that was huge for us. So just a good day overall and a lot to build on for Bristol.
Thanks, Eric. Well done.
14 straight years now that Kyle Busch has at least won one race during the NASCAR season. You saw Samantha nervously watching, now celebrating with her husband in victory lane. We'll have more from Texas in just a moment. And through 7 races, these are the guys that have won. Of course, the only repeat winner, Kevin Harvick, who was back up close again, a 3-time winner, but finishing second to Kyle Busch, who breaks through in the overall standings before we head to another short track. And you go wins, you go points. By the way, good finish by Jamie McMurray, finishing 3rd today. But still guys who, at this point last year, Brad Keselowski had a win already.
Do you think that maybe Kyle Busch is saying, you better talk about me when you talk about a championship? I'm tired of hearing about Harvick and Truex. Kyle Busch put himself right into the conversation.
Chase Elliott currently 15th. You saw some Bubba Wallace, certainly with a strong finish as well. And rounding out as Jimmy Johnson and the Hendrick Chevrolets continuing to struggle. And Matt Yoakum spoke with McMurray a few moments ago.
First top 5 finish for Jamie McMurray since last fall at Charlotte. How important was running the Xfinity race on Saturday helping today?
I mean, I don't know that it helps a lot. It certainly doesn't hurt to get a little bit of track time. The track's pretty treacherous when you get out of the groove. And obviously I spun out yesterday in the Xfinity race, so I learned not to go up there. But it was a really good day for our Cessna McDonald's Chevrolet. We really struggled this year, and especially on the 1.5 miles. And I'm really proud of everybody for the car that we had and to be able to put the whole race together. It's the off weekend for us couldn't have come at a better time. We needed a little bit of a break, so hopefully we can get on a roll here.
Now, what kind of message is your son Carter going to tell his teacher this week?
Well, our kids go to school together, so we see each other in carpool lane. It'll be great this week. I believe last week Carter came home and told me that one of his teachers said your dad didn't do very well last week, which is the truth. But I was like, well, Carter, I said all you can do is go out and try your best every week.
All right, 3rd place finish for Jamie McMurray.
And he did his best today, but Kyle Busch was best. One of the important personalities, I think, in NASCAR, and certainly one of the top drivers at age 32. Was never really averaged, a 4th place running throughout. It was back at 25th, worked his way up, but he was always in the hunt, just like he has been almost in every race this year.
And when we're going to Bristol, Tennessee, he's the guy you're going to talk about. Coming up next weekend, he is amazing at that racetrack. Not only in the Cup Series, he can run the Busch car, the Xfinity car, the truck. He does it all at Bristol. He's going to be fun to watch there.
He doesn't seem to wear out. He's won 6 times at Bristol, although Jimmy Johnson won the spring race last year. Of course, Jimmy came into Texas where he had success and struggled in this one, caught up in that wreck on lap 178.
Yeah, but I think Jimmy Johnson leaves Texas with a smile on his face. I know the result was terrible, but that car had speed. Qualifying, practice, and in the race, they were fast. So I think they leave here encouraged.
Next on FS1, stick around, live from Las Vegas, NHRA. Don't forget a Race Hub during the course of the week. Next Sunday, we've already talked about the Bristol Motor Speedway, and that's always a good time. Sunday on Fox, 1:30 Eastern. Congratulations to our tech team that covers NASCAR, Emmy nominated once again, and our audio team, headed by Kevin McCloskey, once again Emmy nominated for their fine coverage of NASCAR. Kyle Busch gets into victory lane for the first time this year, and then headed to Bristol after a lot of people survived a lot of activity at Texas Motor Speedway. For our entire crew, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching NASCAR on FS1. NHRA in Las Vegas, straight ahead.